Till 5:45, so it has 30 minutes to go. And so from the National Weather Service, we're talking about Kendall and Gobles and Keeler and Glendale, Lawrence. Certainly if you're in the Hartford area, Decatur, you need to be taking cover. So Keeler, Decatur, Lawrence, Paw Paw, Lawton, all need to be taking cover from this tornado warning. All right, we're looking at live Doppler radar right now on our 100-mile scan. I want to show you what we're looking at specifically. It's these cells here that are now moving out, or the cell that's now moving out of northwest Cass County and moving into southwest Van Buren County. Put a scope on that where you can see where we have the green there and the red there. Just to the east of Dowagiac here, this is right along M51, and this is moving to the northeast. So right along M51 and moving to the northeast here. So if you're in southern Van Buren County in particular, if you're south of I-94 in Van Buren County, then you need to be taking cover. Let me get rid of that arrow there. And there you can see, this is this area that we're talking about from Dowagiac northward to about Keeler. We're also looking at Decatur and eventually going up to I-94 to around Lawrence. And we'll keep an eye out for you there in Paw Paw and Lawton as well. So a tornado warning now from the National Weather Service here, and that goes until 6:15. That goes until 5:45. 5:45 is radar indicated. Radar indicated. The hazards here, tornado. There could also be some large hail. Golf ball size hail is possible with this storm as well as it continues to move to the northeast. Movement on this storm is at 45 miles per hour. Again, this from the National Weather Service. Moving northeast at 55. That means these storms are racing along here. So if you are in the neighborhood of Dowagiac, Decatur, Keeler, you need to be taking cover as these storms continue to move off to the northeast. I'm going to scope this for you here just to show you what we're talking about. And once again, what we're talking about is the potential here for some rotation and also some very strong winds. I'm going to slide this up just a little bit where you see this bright yellow that's showing up to the northeast of Dowagiac right now. That's where we're really concerned with some very strong winds. And with this moving to the northeast at about 55 miles per hour, this is going to be blowing through Decatur coming up very shortly here, just in the next few minutes. So in Decatur, you certainly need to be taking cover. We could be looking at some winds here that would be gusting as high as perhaps even 70 miles per hour. So that's not out of the question there. So again, just to keep in mind, if you are northeast of Dowagiac here, then you need to be taking cover. Certainly if you're along M51, as this storm could have some rotation to it as well as it moves to the northeast, headed toward M51 here. And as Colin is putting, I believe, I don't know if we can go to Max 2 in there. If you can, Colin's putting a cone on that to give you an idea of where this is going to be. It's going to be moving into Decatur at about 5:30. All right, thanks. There you can see that. Moving into Texas Township by about 5:49 and could be coming into the Portage and Kalamazoo area by the top of the hour. What will it look like then? We don't know yet, but you can see where that bright yellow is. That's where the winds could be gusting as high as 70 miles per hour. This is also, it looks like, starting to tighten just a little bit. So this is a very serious situation northeast of Dowagiac. If you're in Decatur, you need to be taking cover right now as National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning for eastern Van Buren County here. This is also south of I-94 for the most part right now for a storm that's moving to the northeast at about 55 miles per hour. You can see the towns that we have highlighted here as we have put a storm track on this, and where we're looking at there, where you see that bright yellow in particular is where the winds are very strong, but right up against that green area is where there could be some rotation. And so as that moves off to the northeast, we're looking at Glenwood here as well, moving toward Decatur, and then also eventually toward Lawton as we continue to keep an eye on this as well. As meteorologist Colin Rogers is doing some of the navigating here on the screen. This is going to continue moving to the northeast. It's racing along, and that means you don't have much time here. So if you're in the path of this, it is moving fast. So again, if you're in Decatur right now, you need to be taking cover. If you are in northern Cass County, northeast of Dowagiac around Marcellus, you should be taking cover. If you're in Lawton, you probably should be taking cover as well. As this storm is moving at 55, it's not going to take long You can see the warnings there as well. Just a reminder, we have a severe thunderstorm warning for Allegan and Van Buren County. That goes until 6:15 for radar indicated 60-mile-per-hour winds and 1-inch size hail. However, what we're mainly concerned with right now is this tornado warning, and it does look like this is getting even tighter here. So again, for Decatur, for northeast or north central Cass County, north central Cass County. If you're south of Decatur, near the Cass and Van Buren County line, you need to be taking cover immediately as this continues to move off to the northeast, racing along at 55, headed toward M51 there. So it's going to be making its way toward M51. Right now it's just south of the highway as it continues moving off to the northeast. We are on the air right now because of a tornado warning that has been issued by the National Weather Service in Grand Rapids. It goes, by the way, with the National Weather Service tornado warning that comes out of northern Indiana. That's for northern Cass County. For Van Buren County, that's what we're looking at here from the National Weather Service out of Grand Rapids here. This is for the cell that's moving to the northeast. Collins put another tracker on it there. You can see coming into Decatur at 5:31, so 10 minutes away. That's why we're saying you need to be in your safe spot in Decatur as this continues to move off to the northeast. Lawton, you certainly need to be thinking about your plan right now of where you're going to go, even Matawan and perhaps Paw Paw, as this is going to move out of northern Cass County into southeastern Van Buren County here. So this is all right now concentrated south of I-94. For now, if you're in Van Buren County, north of I-94, not a problem at this moment. What we're talking about is south of I-94 in Van Buren County, all the way down until you get to Dowagiac, northeast of Dowagiac. Certainly Marcellus, you need to be concerned, but especially Decatur right now. And if you are between Decatur and Lawton, then you need to be taking cover right now as this storm is moving off to the northeast. That would be between M51 and M40. So if you're between M51 and M40, south of I-94 in Van Buren County, you should be taking cover right now as this storm continues to move off to the northeast. What Colin is showing us right now is where we have the red and the green right next to each other, and just for lack of a better way of explaining it, that means that there could be some rotation in this particular cell here, and it looks like the National Weather Service has now modified that warning area just a little bit to take out Dowagiac. You're in the clear. If you're in Dowagiac, you're in the clear, at least from this tornado warning here. Meteorologist Colin Rogers joining me now live for team coverage. Colin, what do you have?
Yeah, Keith, this just in from the National Weather Service. A confirmed tornado is now on the ground near Decatur or near Dowagiac, moving northeast at 45 miles per hour. Once again, the National Weather Service has confirmed a tornado on the ground that's located near Decatur or near Dowagiac, moving northeast at 45 miles per hour. Not only is this storm now producing, we have confirmation that it's producing a tornado, but it's also producing some ping pong ball sized hail. That could certainly do some damage as well. So if you're in the area of Decatur, this storm is headed right for your area. It's going to continue to move to the north and the east along M51, heading in the area of M40. And this is eventually, if it holds strength, going to be pushing into western Kalamazoo County. We're looking at Texas Township, and then it will continue to push off to the north and the east. But once again, we do now have confirmation from the National Weather Service that there is a tornado on the ground near Decatur and Dowagiac, moving northeast at 45 miles per hour. Keith.
And so with that tracker that Colin has put up there, if you are in that vicinity, then you need to be taking cover. As we've been saying, if you are around Vollinia Township there in northern Cass County, if you are in Marcellus, you must be taking cover. If you're in Decatur, you must be taking cover. If you're in Lawton, you certainly need to be thinking about taking cover as these storms are racing to the northeast at about 55 miles per hour. 55 miles per hour. That means, by the way, that you will not have much time. You will not have much time to prepare because these are racing along so fast. And out ahead of that, the winds look very strong. This, of course, from Doppler radar here, looking at perhaps winds as strong as, say, 60 to 70 miles per hour. That is apart from even the rotation potential there with this thunderstorm cell. Again, we are on the air right now for a tornado warning that has been issued by the National Weather Service. There is one now for northern Cass County. If you're around Valenia there Township, if you're around Marcellus, if you're around Decatur, then you need to be taking cover immediately. If you are northeast of that vicinity, if you're around Lawton, M40, south of Lawton, you should be taking cover immediately. If you are south of I-94 in eastern Van Buren County, you certainly need to be monitoring this, but definitely if you're in the neighborhood of Decatur, if you're in the neighborhood of Lawton, or if you're south of Lawton along M40 all the way down to Marcellus, that whole area should be taking cover. As Colin just mentioned now from the National Weather Service, there is a confirmed tornado that is on the ground right now, and that is what is moving out of northern Cass County and moving into southern Van Buren County, and that's why we have this tornado warning that is in effect right now. It goes until 5:45. That's from the National Weather Service. We continue to look for any kind of storm reports that might be coming out on this. By the way, we are also on Facebook Live with this as well with our coverage here, just to let you know. So again, northern Cass County under a tornado warning. Much of eastern Van Buren County is under a tornado warning as well. We're primarily concerned right now with Decatur and Lawton. Those two communities and anything in the vicinity of right now needs to be taking cover. Certainly if you're south of Lawton all the way along M40, all the way down to Marcellus. Between Lawton and Marcellus, you need to be taking cover as this continues to slide to the northeast. Colin is showing you right now here the latest that we have on that warning. That's the red box that you see that covers much of eastern Van Buren County all the way up to Antwerp Township, by the way. This goes all the way up to the Matawan area, right along the border with Kalamazoo County. And so, yeah, we are keeping an eye out for you in Kalamazoo County as well. And so if you're in that vicinity as well, if you're between Schoolcraft all the way up to I-94, right around Oshtemo Township, then you need to just be paying special attention here because this is moving to the northeast. And from National Weather Service radar, moving at about 45 to 55 miles per hour. It's moving pretty fast. Very strong winds accompanying this, perhaps as strong as 70 miles per hour, and also the potential for ping pong ball size hail. I believe that has been confirmed. I know radar indicated up to golf ball size hail as well. And by the way, that tornado is no longer radar indicated. Now it has been confirmed that it is on the ground. So again, if you're in northern Cass County, if you are near Marcellus, if you are south of Decatur or in Decatur, you must be taking cover right now along M51. If you're along M40 between Lawton and Marcellus, you should be taking cover as this cell is moving to the northeast and it's moving very fast. Right now, Colin is honing in on this area that we're talking about. Where you see that green and red together, that is where there is some rotation, and that is actually where the National Weather Service says there has now been a confirmed tornado. It is on the ground. It is south of M51. You can see how M51 there takes a west-east turn after you get out of Decatur there, and it's south of that all the way down into northern Cass County where we have that rotation. So that's where we're really concerned right now. And so if you're in Decatur, you should be taking cover right now as that continues to move off to the northeast. This tornado warning goes until 5:45, and again, that is going to be for this cell that you see right now that is moving out of Van Buren County and headed toward southern, or moving out of Cass County and headed in toward southern Van Buren County. Colin right now is putting another tracker on it to track this off to the northeast. And you can see Oshtemo, Kalamazoo, Richland now all in the path. Now the big question here over the next half hour, 40 minutes, is what characteristic will it take whenever it gets to these communities? But that's what we're tracking right now. Jessica and Andy also standing by helping us with the coverage. Jessica?
Thanks so much. Yes, we are looking at some tips right now as this tornado warning continues to find a safe shelter right away. So what does that mean exactly? That means go to a safe room, which is a basement or a storm cellar. If you don't have a basement, then you need to get to a small interior room on the lowest level of your home. Again, stay away from windows, doors, and outside walls.
And this is very important as well. A car is not a safe place to be in a tornado warning. Neither is a mobile home. You should leave both of those right away and get as low as you can to avoid any flying debris. As Keith and Colin have both told us, a tornado has been spotted on the ground in southwest Michigan, traveling very fast and heading northeast.
If you do have a weather radio with you, take that with you at all times. Also take anything that you need, any important documents, water, food for your family, for your pets. If you are trapped Cover your mouth with a cloth or a mask to avoid breathing in dust. Try to send a text message to a loved one. You can always bang on a pipe or a wall or use a whistle instead of shouting to someone. Again, stay clear of fallen power lines if you're outside or any broken utility lines. And if you are outdoors, do not enter a damaged building until you are told that it is safe. And of course, save your phone calls for emergencies to keep your battery fully charged.
Great advice. Thanks very much for that, Jessica and Andy. Also now an update, the National Weather Service out now with a severe thunderstorm warning. This is for eastern Cass County, western St. Joe County, and that's because of these strong winds that we're tracking here. That's the area that you see with that yellow box right now. That includes you there in Three Rivers, Constantine, Three Rivers. Strong winds here. There could be gusts up to 60 miles per hour. Now this is radar indicated, but there could be damage to roofs, to siding, and also of course there could be some tree damage here too. So a severe thunderstorm warning now for St. Joe County. There you can see from Three Rivers to Constantine and then all the way north to the Kalamazoo County line. Now that joins the tornado warning that we want to let you know about here as Colin scopes this out here, or tracks it I should say. This is going to be coming into Three Rivers here in 4 minutes. It's knocking on the door right now, the worst part of it, and then moving through Moore Park and then up to Portage by the time we get to about 6:09. Let's talk more about that tornado warning and get an update on that. So Colin will move us over to there. If you are in the neighborhood of Decatur, if you are near Marcellus, certainly if you're right now in Lawton, you need to be taking cover. If you are south of M51 and Decatur, if you are north of Marcellus, between Marcellus and Lawton along M40, then you need to be taking cover. There's a confirmed tornado from the National Weather Service that is now moving out of northern Cass County and moving into southern Van Buren County. That's why we're on the air right now. We continue to look for any kind of reports or updates from the National Weather Service, but it's important for you to know right now, if you are in Lawton or south, you must be taking cover right now because a potential tornado, one that has been spotted, but it is certainly headed in your direction if you're in that vicinity right now. This looks like now it is moving to the east, starting to move to the southeast of M51. So that would be good news for the folks in Decatur, but you still need to be in a safe space if you're in Decatur. Right now, Paw Paw looks like you're to the north of this, but we're going to keep an eye on it, especially as it moves to the northeast. We're talking about perhaps making a path near Matawan or south of Matawan along the Van Buren and Kalamazoo County line. Again, we're on the air right now because we have a tornado. 45 is for southern Van Buren County, eastern Van Buren County as well, for this area that Colin right now is tracking here, putting a tracker on this. You can see where we have the green and the red, and that is where we have the indication there of rotation. And not only that, but now from the National Weather Service, this has been confirmed to be on the ground in northern Cass County, moving up now into southern Van Buren County here. And it does look like these winds are getting quite strong right now, especially approaching M40 south of Lawton. If you're between Lawton and Marcellus, you must be taking cover right now, as radar indicated winds here could be as high as 75 miles per hour. And that, again, could be part of rotation that is now moving across the Van Buren-Cass County line. It's now moving across the Van Buren-Cass County line. We're going to continue to see if we can get more confirmation here, but earlier the National Weather Service said that this was a confirmed tornado that is on the ground as it moves now toward M40. And this is why we're telling you, if you are in Lawton, you need to be taking cover. If you're south of Lawton along M40, you need to be taking cover, definitely in that vicinity here. Meteorologist Colin Rogers helping me cover this. And Colin, what do you have?
Yeah, Keith, that's just in from the National Weather Service. We now have a tornado warning for St. Joseph County. So I'm going to zoom out here and let's go on and head over to that one. So we have this new tornado warning that just popped up. We can see a little bit of broad rotation just northeast of Constantine, and that's going to be moving off to the north and the east. And looks like some rotation there near Centerville as well. So we're going to continue to track both of these tornado warnings. Of course, we still have that one in eastern Van Buren County now, but we also have a tornado warning now for St. Joseph County. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Constantine or near Three Rivers. It's moving east at 25 miles per hour, and this storm is also capable of producing ping pong ball-sized hail as well as that potential tornado. So now we have 2 active tornado warnings in our area. A confirmed tornado on the ground just southeast of Decatur. That's moving to the north and the east, heading in the general area of Lawton, just south of Lawton. And now we also have this tornado warning with no confirmation, but radar is indicating some rotation just to the northeast of Constantine. That's moving now east at a good clip as well.
Yeah, and so now we have 2 separate areas. These are not related, by the way. These 2 areas are not related. So now we have 2 separate cells that could be producing tornadoes here. One has been spotted. That's the one that is now moving to the south and southeast of Decatur. If you're along M40 south of Lawton, you must be taking cover. And now we have a second one here as well, a second one, and that is the tornado warning that now covers a good portion of south and eastern St. Joe County. And as Colin mentioned just a few moments ago, that's for possible rotation right now that is between Three Rivers and Centerville. Between Three Rivers and Centerville. So what we're talking about here, for example, is if you're near the fairgrounds there in Centerville, if you're along M79, then you should be taking cover as this storm is moving off to the northeast. If you are in the south side of Three Rivers, for example, you should be taking cover as well there because this storm could be bringing some rotation there. In the meantime, the second tornado warning that we're talking about, if you're in southeastern Van Buren County, if you're south of Lawton, along M40, you must be taking cover right now, as we could have some very strong winds there with some rotation. Getting an indication here, there could be winds as high as 75 miles per hour, maybe greater with this storm. And earlier, National Weather Service said that there was a confirmed tornado with this particular cell. So that's something to keep in mind. Again, if you are south of Lawton, along M40, if you're in the Lawton area, you need to be taking cover. This is south of I-94, southeastern Van Buren County, right along the Van Buren and Kalamazoo County line. Second tornado warning. If you're listening right now, if you're watching right now, and you are around Three Rivers, especially east or southeast of Three Rivers, if you're along M79 right now between Three Rivers and let's say Centerville, the fairgrounds there in Centerville, the St. Joe County Fairgrounds, then you should be taking cover because there's some strong winds here as well, and there could be some rotation here too. And so that's something else that we want to keep you aware of. We're working 2 active tornado warnings right now. Colin is showing the one that we have there in southern Van Buren County. And now you can also see where you see those greens and the reds together is where we have the potential there for some rotation that's going on. And it does look like now between Three Rivers and Centerville, that could be problematic as well. So you need to be taking cover as we have a warning. That's going to be for Centerville. That's going to be for Nottawa, Mendon, and south of Mendon. You're in that. Leonidas, you're in it. Colon, you're in it. Burr Oak is in this tornado warning. Sturgis, you're in it as well. Though it looks like right now this is going to be moving to the north of you in Sturgis, moving to the north of Sturgis as this continues to move off to the northeast. Not moving as fast as the cell that is right now in southeast Van Buren County. That one right now is crossing right over M40 south of Lawton. If you're in that vicinity, if you're in Lawton, you should be taking cover all the way down to Marcellus. The wind is getting pretty strong, and in particular, it looks like in southeast Van Buren County, that's where we're seeing some strong wind as well.
That is now a tornado warning for Kalamazoo County. A tornado warning has just been issued for Kalamazoo County. That might be why you're hearing some phones going off as well. Yeah. This is just a continuation of this tornado that's moving through southeastern Van Buren County. They have extended the warning into Kalamazoo County. So the city of Kalamazoo, Portage, you are now under this tornado warning as this storm continues to trek off to the north and the east. Keith.
The latest on that as well, going with that with the tornado warning, I should say. Let me get the latest on that from the National Weather Service here. We're talking about this going until 6:45. 6:45. This is from southeastern Van Buren County. It's the cell we've been tracking now for the last half hour or so, all the way into Kalamazoo County. The movement on this is northeast at 45 miles per hour. Golf ball size hail and a potential here for a tornado. Winds really strong with this as it moves now south of Lawton. So for example, Schoolcraft, you need to be in your safe spot. Portage, you need to be in your safe spot as well. In fact, Colin has put a track on this storm here, moving to the northeast. Texas Township here coming up in about 15 minutes or so. Portage headed your way by the top of the hour. We have 5:39 on the clock right now. By the top of the hour, it's going to be knocking on your door there in Portage and Kalamazoo 5 minutes after that. And so you need to be moving into your safe spot right now. Winds with these radar indicated now, we could have 75-mile-per-hour plus wind coming along with some rotation here as this now moves out of Van Buren County. It is just about right over the Kalamazoo-Van Buren County line. That's what Colin is highlighting right there. You can see it's over M40. Oh, we've been telling you there in Lawton, you need to be taking cover. You still need to be in your safe spot. Matawan, you need to be taking cover. You need to be in your safe spot. Flowerfield Township there, you need to be taking cover and in a safe spot. Schoolcraft headed your way and eventually moving to the northeast into the Portage area at about 45 miles per hour. Just a reminder here that there could be debris with this as well, with these very strong winds. And so for folks outside, that's something else that you might have to be dealing with. That's why you need to be getting inside. In the meantime, second tornado warning now. Second tornado warning for St. Joe County. We've got the one now that we have rotation possible, radar indicated near Centerville. If you're along M79 there around Centerville, you need to be taking cover. If you're near the fairgrounds there, you need to be taking cover. If you're near Nottawa, you should be taking cover. Mendon, you should be taking cover, as well as Colon and Leonidas. It's headed in that direction, moving off to the northeast. And so that's what Colin is showing you there right now. You can see that yellow getting brighter there just to the west of Nottawa there. That's a sign that these winds here are getting stronger. And the potential here, radar indicated winds here, could be in excess of 70 miles per hour. So we have two very strong thunderstorm cells, and as a result, we have multiple tornado warnings. One is for eastern Van Buren County. That stretches into now Kalamazoo County. That goes until 6:45. And so if you are watching in Portage, if you are watching in Matawan, if you are watching in Schoolcraft, you need to be taking cover. Vicksburg, you need to be taking cover, certainly right on up to Portage as we continue to track this to the northeast at about 45 miles per hour. Winds very strong here, and earlier from the National Weather Service, it's been a little while now, but earlier from the National Weather Service confirmed to have a tornado on the ground here. So confirmed to have a tornado on the ground with this cell that is now in the southeasternmost corner of Van Buren County, and it's just about to move into southwest Kalamazoo County. That's why Kalamazoo County right now is under a tornado warning. Right now we're looking at that tornado warning that is in St. Joe County. St. Joe County here, moving now right around Centerville and moving off to the northeast. So we've got a tracker on it there. You can see Nottawa. You need to be taking cover as this is along M86, my bad, M86, not M79, M86, as it runs east-west right through Centerville, right past the fairgrounds. If that sounds familiar, you need to be taking cover. Right around Nottawa and then almost to Mendon right now as well. You should be taking cover. Colon, it's headed your way. And we'll be arriving there in the next 20 to 30 minutes or so, moving off to the northeast at about 45 miles per hour. So again, two active tornado warnings that we have that we're really concerned with right now. One for eastern Van Buren County. By the way, this is south of I-94, south of I-94 for now. And then moving into southwest Kalamazoo County. So Schoolcraft headed toward US 131, south of I-94. If that sounds familiar to you, then you should be taking cover, as there could be a tornado here and also the potential of some golf ball size hail. We continue to watch for any kind of reports as well, as Colin puts a tracker on this, moving off to the northeast. And you can see some of the locations that we're highlighting here. 15 minutes to Portage, 15 minutes to Portage. About 5 minutes after that to Kalamazoo, 9 minutes after that to Comstock, about 6:07, 6:12 in Galesburg. So just a reminder, if you're in those communities, then you need to be taking cover or at least thinking about it because this is going to be headed in your direction. Just a reminder, if you're just tuning in, we have a tornado warning for Kalamazoo County and for southeastern Van Buren County. Kalamazoo County, southeastern Van Buren County, and this is for a tornado radar indicated, but also had been spotted earlier as a confirmed tornado that's now moving out of southeast Van Buren County and headed your way there in southwest Kalamazoo County. And so that's what we're tracking right now as it continues to move to the northeast. In addition, by the way, to the potential for rotation here, we have some radar indicated wind speeds here in excess of 70. Not only for this cell that's now moving into western Kalamazoo County, but also the one that right now you can also see as Colin moves down to Nottawa here. There's also here, this is getting a little bit, looks like a little bit stronger. So if you're north of M86, north of Centerville, north of Nottawa here, between Nottawa and Mendon, between Centerville and Mendon, then you need to be taking cover. This is radar indicated. We continue to look for any kind of spotter reports that would give any kind of idea as to whether there's actually a tornado here. But that's one thing that we're watching right now as we check out this warning. So again, 2 active tornado warnings. If you're in St. Joe County, if you're along M86, if you're east of Nottawa, all the way up to Mendon, over to Leonidas, over to Colon, you need to be taking cover, especially Mendon right now. Especially Mendon and Leonidas right now. You need to be taking cover as this is moving to the northeast right now. And so this is to the east of you in Three Rivers. This is to the east of Three Rivers right now. So Three Rivers, you're in the clear from this part of the storm at this particular time. But if you're in Nottawa, if you're in Mendon, if you're in Colon, if you're along M60, all the way to the Calhoun County line, then you should be taking cover. If you're in Colon, you should be taking cover. This is eventually going to be moving out of St. Joe County and into southern Calhoun County. But of course, we'll have to monitor it to see what kind of characteristic it has then. That's Tornado Warning 1. Tornado Warning 2, or A and B, is the one that is now for Kalamazoo County. And that is for this cell here. There you can see it. It is right over the Kalamazoo-Van Buren County line right now. So if you are south of I-94 here, if you are west of US 131, certainly if you are west of Schoolcraft, then you need to be taking cover. This storm has produced a confirmed tornado earlier, and the winds with this are quite strong. So that's why we're on the air following these storms, by the way. Colin has put a storm track on this. Portage headed your way in 10 minutes. 10 minutes as this moves off to the northeast at 45 to 55 miles per hour. Kalamazoo at 6:02. And then moving to the northeast, we're looking at Galesburg and Richland eventually as it continues to pass perhaps right over the downtown area here. Of course, we'll keep an eye on that as it continues moving to the northeast. Just a reminder, tornado warning for Kalamazoo County for this cell that is now just about out of Van Buren County. Eastern Van Buren County is still in the warning. But as you can see where we have that green and red, that's where we have the rotation, and that's where the winds are quite strong. So now, western Kalamazoo County, south of I-94. Western Kalamazoo County, south of I-94, west of US 131, that's where you need to be taking cover. Now a severe thunderstorm warning too has just popped up on the northern edge of that tornado warning that is in St. Joe County. What that means is if you're now Mendon northward all the way up to the Kalamazoo Van Buren or Kalamazoo St. Joe County line, you're probably going to see some winds that could be gusting up to 60. Leonidas, Mendon, Colon, all in this area here where Colin is highlighting right now, that's where we're looking at the potential for winds of 60 miles per hour. I don't know if you saw that, Colin, but they're also talking about 2-inch diameter hail is possible with this particular storm as well. So that is some very large hail that might be coming down with that as well. So just to recap, because we have many active warnings right now, the latest, a severe thunderstorm warning for northeast St. Joe County, northwestern Branch County. This goes all the way into northwestern Branch County here for the potential of 60 mile per hour winds. This is moving northeast at 25 and perhaps 2-inch diameter hail. If you have a carport and a car outside, you need to get it under some shelter if you're in that vicinity. Another area of concern, of course, is that tornado warning that is now for this cell that is now moving out of Van Buren County and moving into western Kalamazoo County. If you're in Kalamazoo County, just a reminder, if you're in Kalamazoo County, you're under a tornado warning. Again, just the latest on that from the National Weather Service. This was issued 10 minutes ago, and it goes until 6:45. This is moving to the northeast at 45, tornado possible, and also golf ball size hail. Now for now, this is radar indicated, but a little bit earlier, as it was in Van Buren County, it was a confirmed tornado that was on the ground. And so this is now moving out of Van Buren County. You can see where we have that green and red there. That is moving out of Van Buren County and into Kalamazoo County, headed your way just to the west of Schoolcraft. It looks like it might just dart just to the north of Schoolcraft, but close enough to where you need to be taking cover. If you're up and down US 131, all the way from I-94 to the St. Joe Kalamazoo County line, you should be taking cover as this continues to move to the northeast right now at about 45 to 55 miles per hour. We're still looking for any kind of reports that might be coming in. Colin is putting a tracker on this to move it off to the northeast. You can see Portage headed your way now in about 10 to 12 minutes. 10 to 12 minutes. So you need to be taking cover if you're in the vicinity of this storm. So if you're in Portage, you should be taking cover. Kalamazoo, Battle Creek International Airport at 6:04. That is 14 minutes from now. 14 minutes from now.
We have an important update at 5:49. A large and extremely dangerous tornado was located near Mattawan, or 6 miles west of Portage. This storm is moving northeast at 45 miles per hour. This is a particularly dangerous situation. The National Weather Service does that when we have a tornado confirmed on the ground, and it's a dangerous one. Do not take this lightly. If you're in this path, we now have a large and extremely dangerous tornado confirmed near Mattawan. That's 6 miles west of Portage. It is moving northeast at 45 miles per hour. This is a big deal, but we also now, in our St. Joseph County tornado, we also are starting to see some damage being reported. That is also now a particularly dangerous situation. We have 2 simultaneous confirmed tornadoes. One right now is moving north of Schoolcraft, and this other one is in St. Joseph County right now. If I can get this located. It's near Mendon right now, a large and dangerous tornado confirmed there. That is also moving to the north and the east, Keith.
Yeah, and you know, the National Weather Service does not issue PDS, potentially dangerous situation tornado warnings often. And so that means that there is high confidence that these are very dangerous situations. 2 of them right now. If you are west of Portage, southwest of Portage, between Portage and Schoolcraft, you need to be taking cover now. It is very important that you be taking cover. We do have some radar indicated wind speeds here on one side of what could be the rotation of 80 miles per hour. I was checking out the velocity on the other side to 30 to 40 miles per hour. This could be a rotating column of wind that could be in excess of 100 miles per hour as it moves to the northeast. Colin right now is timing that out for you. Portage at 5:59. It's 5:52 right now, 7 minutes away. This is now a confirmed tornado and a very dangerous one. That from the National Weather Service as it moves now toward Portage. If you're in Portage, you need to be taking cover. Of course, that is right in the middle of that tornado warning that you see, that red box that, by the way, also does include Kalamazoo. But certainly right now, if you are along or south of I-94, all the way from Portage to Schoolcraft along US 131, you need to be taking cover. And as this moves to the northeast, obviously the danger is going to be moving northeast with it. And that means folks in Kalamazoo, folks in Comstock, in Galesburg, you need to be paying special attention and you need to know where are you going to go when that storm moves to the northeast. That's tornado A. We have tornado warning B now, another potentially dangerous situation that is south of Leonidas. South of Leonidas, that's what Colin is getting in on right now. There you can see where you see those colors there. That is along M60. So if you are around M60 and M66, if you are between Leonidas, if you're near Colon, it is imperative that you take cover right now. Sherwood as well. Spotter tornado touchdown southwest of Leonidas. This just coming in from Calhoun County Emergency Management. And so this is a confirmed tornado now that is just southwest of Leonidas. Matches up perfectly with what we're seeing here. What we're looking at here is the potential for any kind of debris that would be showing up in the radar pattern. This is a particular parameter that we're able to look at with Doppler radar that would give us an indication if there's anything blowing in the air, anything that's being lifted up by those columns of updrafts here that are rotating around that tornado. And it does look like we could be seeing some in the neighborhood of M66 and M60 there, right around Leonidas, Fairfax Township, M86 here. If you're in Colon, if you're Leonidas, you need to be taking cover immediately, as this is a potentially dangerous situation. Let's get back to our Kalamazoo County tornado. As this continues to move to the northeast as well, this is again a very dangerous situation from the National Weather Service, a potentially dangerous situation tornado warning, which those are not issued very often. And you can see the wind now that is now coming to the west of Portage, southwest of Portage, as this continues to move off to the northeast. Rotation right around Matawan, and in fact from the National Weather Service, confirmation of a tornado near Matawan, just to the south of Matawan. That would be moving southeast now of Matawan as this continues to head up toward I-94. So this is going to be right around the US 131 I-94 interchange southwest of that. Okay, that's what we're looking at here. So that's going to be moving off to the northeast. This is going to be making a beeline not only to Portage, but this path continues. This is going to be moving on the south side of Kalamazoo. So if you are in Kalamazoo right now, city of, you need to be taking cover right now, as this is going to continue moving to the northeast. And the speed on this has been at 45 miles per hour. And so it's making some pretty good time. It won't be long until it is moving right over the US 131 I-94 interchange as it continues to head toward Portage. That's why we're urging you, if you're in Portage, if you're in Kalamazoo, if you're in the Millwood neighborhood, if you're in Comstock, you need to be taking cover right now. If you're around the airport, you should be taking cover, as this is going to be moving right in your vicinity here as it continues to move off to the northeast. Again, the latest from this. Go ahead, Colin.
Yeah, we also are now getting some more information down on that tornado in St. Joseph County. A large tornado confirmed on the ground heading east towards Leidy Lake Campground. Right now we have a large tornado confirmed in that area. So this is in the Mendon area, moving, it looks just north of Colon, and this is going to continue to trek to the east. I wouldn't be surprised if they issue a tornado warning a little further off to the east for areas of northern Branch County.
Branch County, Sherwood Township there, yeah, as that continues to move to the northeast. So a particular campground that Colin just mentioned out from the National Weather Service. Need to be taking cover if you're in this particular vicinity here for this tornado warning, as this is now headed out toward, it's almost to the Branch St. Joe County line. So Sherwood Township, you should be taking cover here. As Colin mentioned, and I totally agree here, this will probably be, or could be anyway, extended into Branch County at any time here, and maybe even stretching into southern Calhoun County. If you're in Athens, you need to certainly be paying attention. Union City, you need to be paying attention. Burlington, know where you're going to go if this warning is extended. But right now it looks like it is moving right over Colon, between Colon and Leonidas, and headed your way there in Sherwood, which would be in northwest Branch County. So you need to be taking cover in that vicinity, as that's what Colin is highlighting right there. A confirmed tornado on the ground near Leonidas and Colon, moving northeast right along and south of M60, headed your way there near Union City and Burlington and Tecumseh. So if those are familiar to you, then you need to be taking cover. Let's get back to that Kalamazoo County tornado as well. Colin continues to look for some storm reports. Again, a confirmed tornado here as well. And the tornado warning goes until 6:45. Kalamazoo County, you are on alert. If you are in Portage, you need to be taking cover right now, especially if you're along and west of US 131 between Portage and Matawan. Texas Township, looking at you right there along Center Street. You need to be taking cover, as this is going to be moving up toward I-94, moving up toward I-94. Colin is tracking this right now, moving this up to the northeast. You can see we're looking at Portage at 6 o'clock. That's momentarily here. Comstock, Ross Township up around, that would be up around Gull Lake, and then Level Park, which would be northwest of Battle Creek, all in the line of fire here in the next half hour. There are some very strong winds associated with this cell as it moves through. Checking out our downtown Kalamazoo camera right now, not seeing a lot of wind yet, but that's because it is just starting to move into the area. So once again, a tornado warning that goes until 6:45, tornado warning until 6:45, and that's going to be for Kalamazoo County. That tornado warning has been issued now down in St. Joe and northern Branch County, just out from the National Weather Service right now. Northeastern St. Joe County, northern Branch County. From the National Weather Service, a quote, a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado located over Colon, that is north of Sturgis. It is moving northeast at 45. This is a particularly dangerous situation. Take cover now. So once again, if you're in northeastern St. Joe County, moving this down here right along the St. Joe and Branch County line, north of Colon, near Leonidas, Sherwood Township, or Sherwood, you need to be taking cover immediately. Union City, Athens, take cover immediately. From the National Weather Service, a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado located over Colon. This was just 2 minutes ago. That is moving to the northeast at 45 miles per hour, and from the National Weather Service calling this a particularly dangerous situation. You need to take cover now. That's one of the 2 tornado warnings that we have. You can see that Colin is tracking it right now. Sherwood headed your way here momentarily. Burlington, you need to be taking cover. You need to be certainly taking cover if you're around Athens, as this is going to be moving between Burlington, Union City, Athens, Sherwood, Leonidas. Colin.
Yeah, Justin, from the National Weather Service, a large and extremely dangerous tornado is located near Portage. This is moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. Once again, a large and extremely dangerous tornado located near Portage. This is headed to the north and the east at 35 miles per hour. This is a life-threatening situation. You need to take this very seriously if you're in the area of Portage. The storm is heading to the north and the east. Looks like it's about to start crossing I-94, Keith.
Yeah, right around I-94 and US 131 here. So, for example, if you are in Portage proper, and certainly close to I-94, Oakland Drive, Westnedge, you need to be taking cover, as this is going to be moving right along the interstate. Right now, it looks like it is moving just to the south of the interstate. So, again, if you are in this area, you must be taking cover, as the National Weather Service has confirmed this tornado, a very dangerous tornado, as it moves to the northeast. You can see Ross Township, Level Park. I think we're getting hail.
Yeah, it sounds like we're getting hail here at the studio in Kalamazoo.
Here at the studio, and so we can hear that. Weather conditions obviously deteriorating now in downtown Kalamazoo as well. But again, a very dangerous tornado on the ground in Portage. Moving to the northeast, if you are along 131 east into Portage, you must be taking cover right now. I-94 south for sure. North of I-94, you should be taking cover, as this is going to be moving close to Kalamazoo. It certainly looks like we'll be moving into the southern areas of Kalamazoo. So we're looking at Millwood, for example, certainly the airport there, as it moves off to the east toward Sprinkle. So again, a very dangerous situation here. With a tornado, we are getting hail. I'm looking right now at the downtown Kalamazoo camera, and it is raining hard. Looking at trees to see if there's any kind of motion. I don't see a lot of wind coming in there, but this is certainly indicated to have some very strong winds. Tornado warning now for Kalamazoo County, for the Portage area. A tornado, you need to be taking cover immediately. If you are in Portage, if you're on the south side of Kalamazoo, if you're in the Millwood neighborhood, if you are around Sprinkle Road, the airport, if you're around Wings Stadium, you need to be taking cover immediately. We're getting some hail here right now at the News Channel 3 studio, which is of course very close to downtown Kalamazoo, just a couple of miles to the south.
We have another tornado warning now issued for Branch County. Another tornado warning was just issued. This is a radar indicated tornado, so we're seeing some rotation on radar. This is for Branch County in Michigan, and it's capable of producing a tornado. There's a little bit of rotation that we're seeing on radar. That is 12 miles northwest of Angola, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. Also capable of producing ping pong ball sized hail. We've already had reports of 2-inch diameter hail in areas of St. Joseph County.
This would be a third, by the way, third cell. This is a third cell that is now producing a radar indicated tornado. Not to get them confused. First, if you're in downtown Kalamazoo, if you are in Portage, if you are in Millwood, if you are in the Eastwood neighborhood, you need to be taking cover immediately. If you're in downtown Kalamazoo, you should be taking cover as this continues to move to the northeast. Second tornado is going to be over now northwest Branch County, Leonidas to Sherwood, to Union City, to Athens. You need to be taking cover if you're here. A second tornado warning there. That's what Colin is focusing on. And now a third tornado warning. This is going to be close to the Michigan-Indiana line. in Branch County. That's where we're seeing right here. We start to lose a little of our radar there because it is now so far away from radar sites. But this is going to be west of Kinderhook. This is going to be west of I-69. This is going to be north of Angola, which is in Indiana. So if you are around Kinderhook or west, if you're south of Bronson, if you're near the Michigan-Indiana line, along and west of I-69, that's right where Colin is looking right now. You need to be taking cover. This is, if at the current movement, it will stay to the south of you there in Coldwater, but you probably need to be taking cover in Coldwater as you are in the warning area, in Coldwater, in Girard, and Quincy. All of those locations are in the tornado warning. Let's get back up to Kalamazoo here and show you what's going on there as we continue to see this storm right now. Quite a bit of hail is coming down right now, along with some very heavy rain. Colin is looking for latest reports. While he's doing that, let me let you know that this is a very dangerous situation with a confirmed tornado that is now moving through Portage, and it is headed now for I-94. So around Oakland Drive, for example. That's what we're concerned with right now as this continues to move to the northeast at about 45 miles per hour. And from the National Weather Service, it is one of two very dangerous confirmed tornadoes. One of two, one near Portage, the other one now approaching Sherwood and Union City in northwest Branch County. Both of these are moving to the northeast.
Yeah.
What do you have, Colin?
Keith, we're getting some reports of multiple fire departments reporting damage and advising a tornado touchdown near Centerville, Michigan. This coming in from the emergency management down that way. Okay, so that would be there in the cell that we were watching in St. Joe County. When I was talking about the St. Joe County Fairgrounds, for example, that's along M86. And that would be the same cell, by the way, that is producing a very dangerous tornado that is near Sherwood and Union City. Moving off to the northeast along I-94 as it gets closer to Sprinkle. This is a very dangerous situation, folks. If you are right now around Portage, if you are along Westnedge and I-94, if you are around Portage Road and I-94, if you're in the Millwood neighborhood, you need to be taking cover. If you're south of I-94, near the airport, near Wing Stadium, you need to be taking cover as this storm, it looks like it's going to be moving just to the south of downtown Kalamazoo. But we continue with this tornado warning. You can see two red boxes there. One is the warning that will expire at 6:45. The other that goes all the way to the border with Calhoun County will expire at 7. But it's all for this one warning, or this one area. This does look like a very strong, dangerous tornado that is now close to I-94. Right now, it looks like probably around or east of Oakland Drive, close to perhaps Westnedge or Lover's Lane. That is the tornado that we're covering there. So if you're in Kalamazoo County, in this area, Portage, if you're around Millwood, if you're on the east side of Kalamazoo, if you're near Sprinkle Road, Wing Stadium, then you need to be taking cover as this continues to move to the east. We have a second very dangerous tornado situation that's going on right now in Sherwood
and Union City. And that's where now Colin is moving our radar. We have again confirmed tornado here. And from the National Weather Service, a very dangerous tornado is on the ground. This is going to be moving here right close to M60 there as it moves toward Burlington Township. And that means it's going to be crossing over into Calhoun County along M60. This is just to the south of you there in Athens, but this is in northernmost Branch County right now. This is west of you in Teconcha, but if you're in Teconcha, you need to get to a safe place immediately. This is going to be tracking to the north of Coldwater. So Teconcha, you need to be taking cover immediately. Athens, you need to be in a storm shelter. M60 Burlington, you need to be taking cover immediately. Girard, you need to be taking cover immediately. If you're in the north side of Coldwater, you likely need to be taking cover as well as this storm continues to move to the northeast. That is the second tornado. We have a third tornado that's radar indicated. That's more south, and that's close to Kinderhook. This is south of you in Coldwater. So you've got one to your northwest, you've got one to your southwest in Coldwater. This is going to be moving close to I-69 and right along Kinderhook. That's radar indicated, and so that's serious as well as you see the radar returns. But what's confirmed right now is a very dangerous tornado around Burlington Township, also around Sherwood here, moving to the northeast. Union City, you are in the sights of this storm as it has now cleared Leonidas. It is now south of you in Athens, but Union City, you are under the gun. Girard, Teconcha, Burlington, all need to be taking cover. We return now to Kalamazoo County, where there is confirmed a large and dangerous tornado that is now moving, it looks like now over to the east side of Kalamazoo here.
Yeah, and we had rotation reported by Crosstown Mall in Kalamazoo. That was reported from Emergency Management, Kalamazoo County.
Yeah, and there you can see what we're looking at, where you see those greens and reds. That's where we have potential for rotation. And this has been a confirmed tornado, by the way. This is now, as you can see, moving right over Portage. It is now moving right around Lover's Lane, just to the south of 94. This is going to be close to Lloyd Norris High School, just to the south of it as it heads toward the airport, and then eventually will make its way over toward Sprinkle Road. If any of those places sound familiar to you, you need to be taking cover as you're in this tornado warning here that continues now until 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, one of 3 tornado warnings that we're working right now. This one, of course, a very dangerous situation. You can see it does look like this continues to move off to the east. If you're in Galesburg, you should be taking cover.
Keith, we now have a very dangerous situation. A tornado emergency is on the way for Union City. This is pretty much a worst case scenario. This is even more dangerous than a particularly dangerous situation. A tornado emergency is coming for Union City, Michigan.
That's going to be in northern Branch County, right along the Branch-Calhoun County line.
Exactly, yeah, and we're seeing that on velocity right now. We're seeing some extremely strong winds with that tornado right now. Of course, that also is confirmed on the ground. Once again, a tornado emergency is coming for Union City. If you are in Union City, if you're in that area, you need to take shelter immediately. Get to the lowest floor, most interior room. A tornado emergency is heading in your direction. This just in from the National Weather Service, a confirmed large and destructive tornado was located over Union City, or 10 miles northwest of Coldwater, moving northeast at 45 miles per hour. This is a particularly dangerous situation. Weather spotters have confirmed this large tornado on the ground.
Union City, Burlington, Teconcha, Girard, Clarendon Township, you need to be taking cover. If I named one of your communities or you're near there, Union City, Burlington, Teconcha, Girard, Clarendon Township, you need to be taking cover. This is right now on the ground close to the Calhoun Branch County line in northwest Branch County. So as Colin said, this is noted from the National Weather Service, a tornado emergency for Union City, Burlington, Teconcha. Be taking cover now. Union City, it is right over you right now. Girard, take cover. Clarendon Township, take cover as well as this continues to move to the northeast. So you need to be taking that very seriously. One of 3 tornadoes now that we are tracking. A second one right now, again, now moving east and southeast of Kalamazoo. This is headed toward Galesburg. So it looks like this is running right along I-94. Right along I-94 here, getting close to the Galesburg exit. So if you are in Galesburg, you need to be taking cover. If you're in Augusta, you need to be taking cover here as that tornado warning goes until 7 o'clock. It looks like Colin might have an update on that.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Keith. Now a tornado warning for Calhoun County until 7:15. A confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado was located near Burlington, or 9 miles northwest of Coldwater, moving northeast at 45 miles per hour. This is a particularly dangerous situation and has been confirmed by radar, Keith.
Yeah, and that's the one that we were tracking just a few moments ago that Colin was telling you about that created the tornado emergency. This is for that cell that is now moving out of Union City. It is now moving across the Branch Calhoun County line. That's why we're looking at you, Burlington, right now. To Concha, you need to be taking cover. If you are near I-69 south of Marshall, I-69 all the way down to the Branch County line with Tekonsha, you should be taking cover. But it's especially important in Burlington, Tekonsha, and Girard for you to be taking cover right now. Clarendon, you should be taking cover as well. Marshall, you need to be paying attention. Also, you need to be paying close attention in Albion because this is going to continue moving to the northeast, and over time, it will likely arrive in your area as well. And again, a particularly dangerous situation. That from the National Weather Service for this Calhoun County warned tornado now that goes until 7:15. That joins the tornado warning that continues as well south of Coldwater now, for a potential tornado. That's radar indicated that right now is crossing right over I-69 between Coldwater and Kinderhook. That's a second tornado. That's the one that right now that Colin is looking at right there. That is south of Coldwater along I-69. Notice in the same screen, we have two tornadoes. One radar indicated south of Coldwater, one confirmed and very dangerous, prompting a tornado emergency a few moments ago from the National Weather Service, moving out of northern Branch County, moving into southern St. Joe County, or southern Calhoun County to Concha. You're under the gun with this one. You must be taking cover. Burlington, you must be taking cover. Clarendon, you should be taking cover. You should be paying attention all the way to Marshall, I-69, and also Albion as well.
And Keith, we just now have yet another tornado warning. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Angola, moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. This is a separate cell that you can kind of see just off to further to the south, and that's going to be moving into southeastern Branch County as well. This is not the same one that's moving towards Coldwater. This is not the same tornado that's moving towards Tekonsha as well. And of course, we still have a confirmed tornado on the ground that's been moving to the north and the east of Portage.
Let's go back to that one in Kalamazoo as well to give you an update on what's going on there with our tornado warning for the cell that has now moved east of Kalamazoo. Kalamazoo City, Portage City, you should be okay now. However, Galesburg, under the gun right now. Augusta, you need to be taking cover. If you're in the Gull Lake area, certainly if you're on the south side of Gull Lake, the south end of the lake, over toward Ross Township, then you should be taking cover. Level Park, you need to be thinking very strongly about taking cover. If you're around Fort Custer, for example, you need to be taking cover as well as this continues to move to the northeast. This is a storm that earlier had produced a tornado. National Weather Service confirmed this tornado as it moves off to the northeast. It's moving at about 45 miles per hour. Just one of 4 active tornadoes. As you see, Colin is tracking it right now at Charleston Township at about 624. That's going to be near the Target Distribution Center climax in that vicinity as well. So if that sounds familiar to you, and then the Kellogg Airport there just to the north of I-94, that's in about 15 to 16 minutes or so, and then eventually moving over toward Penfield Township as we continue to track this storm as it moves to the northeast. One of 4 tornado warnings that we have right now. One in Kalamazoo County that extends to the border there with Calhoun County. Another one that goes from northern Branch County into southern Calhoun County. That, by the way, a potentially dangerous situation, and earlier a tornado emergency for Union City. Now that cell is now moving to Burlington and Tekonsha. Told you earlier, if you're in Tekonsha, you must be taking cover.
Yeah, and we're starting to get lots of damage reports in as these storms continue to track to the east. Large trees down, power lines down, shingles scattered all around, possible tornado damage. That reported in Portage, and we'll continue to bring updates as we receive more storm damage reports here over the next few minutes.
So we're going to go back to Kalamazoo here, Kalamazoo County. This is headed now right down I-94. It looks like maybe just sort of crossed it there right along the Kalamazoo River. So if you're in the neighborhood of M96, if you're from Galesburg to Augusta, if you're close to Fort Custer, if you're along I-94 southward to Climax, if you're near the Target Distribution Center, you should be taking cover as the cell is going to be in the vicinity of all of those locations. This is running very close to or right along I-94. Got to think about traffic that's out there on I-94 right now. If you're familiar with the Galesburg exit, and you know, just to the west of that, there's a truck stop there as well, or a rest area, I should say, not a truck stop, a rest area. That's right about where we're tracking this right now as it moves along I-94. So that's very serious here as folks are traveling, no doubt, on the interstate. And so that is another area here of concern as this moves off to the east. And again, a confirmed tornado with this cell a little bit earlier, that from the National Weather Service, as it moves off to the northeast.
Yeah, Keith, and I just want to say that we also have more storms developing further off to the west. Now a new severe thunderstorm warning for Berrien County, 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-size hail. So once this round moves through, we are not in the clear. More storms are going to continue to fire up, so just keep that in mind.
Yeah, exactly. And so right now, if you are south of Coldwater, I'm taking you back down to Branch County right now, Quincy, you need to be taking cover immediately. You need to be taking cover. South of Coldwater, south of I-60 or along I-69 and east, Quincy, you need to be taking cover. If you are near Tekonsha, second tornado warning. You need to be taking cover right now as this cell is just about to move right over you. Burlington, the same, headed your way there in Clarendon. A third one now, the one that we were just talking about, moving into eastern Kalamazoo County. This is now running right along I-94. This is to the east of the Galesburg exit, which would put it right around the Climax exit there, or just north of that. That's exit 88, and that's right where the Target Distribution Center is. That's near Fort Custer, and that's approaching the Battle Creek Airport there, the Battle Creek Airport. So if you're along or near the Kalamazoo-Calhoun County line, you have that tornado warning. And so you need to be taking cover, and we need to be paying close attention as well, as the tornado warning has extended, of course, into Calhoun County, and that does include the Battle Creek area as well for this cell as it moves off to the east. This is looking like it's going right along I-94 there, very close right now to Charleston Township, and again, that is really right where the Target Distribution Center is. So that's another potential hazard there. As we continue to monitor more of these warnings now, they're coming in for northern Indiana as well. And as Colin mentioned, we're not going to be out of the woods once these clear our area, as there are more thunderstorms that are developing. But right now, we're still looking for any kind of damage reports that might be coming in. This tornado warning now for Kalamazoo County. Kalamazoo, you're in the clear. Portage, you're in the clear. Vicksburg, you're in the clear. Galesburg, still dicey because that storm is just leaving the area right now. Augusta, right over you. Climax, right over you. Fort Custer, right over you. Looks like it's going to be moving to the southeast of the south end of Gull Lake, but headed your way there in Level Park, northwest of Battle Creek. We're looking along M37, M89, a couple of highways there, M96 as we go Springfield, Level Park, Battle Creek, Kellogg Airport, all in the neighborhood here of this particular cell that earlier produced a confirmed tornado. We have now a tracker on that. You can see Level Park in 10 minutes. Battle Creek in 15, Penfield Township at 646. That would be as it's moving over to the northeast side there of Battle Creek as it continues to move off to the east. So you see the tracker that we have on that one there. Again, we have several tornado warnings, but of most import right now, a confirmed tornado that moved through the Portage area, moved to the east side of Kalamazoo, now is near Augusta, Fort Custer. It looks like it's now around or near I-94 between Galesburg and Augusta. That's one. Colin, what do you have?
Yeah, so we have a new update as of 6:20 p.m. A confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado is located near Burlington, or 11 miles south of Marshall, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. This is a particularly dangerous situation, Keith.
That's the one we were telling you about. You need to be in your shelter in Union City, but especially Burlington, Tecumseh, Clarendon. Can't say it enough. Girard in northern Branch County, north of Coldwater, along I-69. You need to be in your shelter right now or a safe place. Remember, what's a safe place? Away from windows, away from doors that lead to the outside. If you have a basement, that's the best place to go. If you don't, inside a closet or an interior room, the closer in the walls, the sturdier it's going to be. If you need to put a mattress over you or something like that for protection, that's good advice as well. Those all fall under the heading of safe place and where to go. So if you're in Tecumseh right now, you need to be taking cover. This is right over you. Clarendon, you need to be taking cover. Albion, headed your way there in about 20 minutes or so, might not even take that long. And so do take precautions right now and stay with us on that.
Not only do we have tornadoes on the ground, a picture shared on Twitter shows a hailstone measuring 4 inches in diameter, that being in Union City in Branch County. So this hail is huge. It's going to do damage.
Huge, huge. Your cars, if you have them outside in these areas, you need to put them under something if you can do so safely. A 4-inch hailstone is what you would see out in the middle of the plains. And that is wild. Tecumseh, you need to be taking cover. It's right over you. Clarendon, as Colin just mentioned, you need to be taking cover. Homer, you need to be taking cover. If you're south of Marshall, south of I-94, and along or east of I-69, you need to be taking cover. This is a very dangerous situation here with a confirmed tornado that is moving to the northeast here. And as Colin just mentioned, now a picture of a 4-inch diameter hailstone. That's with this cell that you see right now. It's right over I-69. This is between Marshall and Coldwater, along I-69, and this is running right along the highway there, running right along M60 as it moves off to the east, right along M60. So if those highways sound familiar to you, then you must be taking cover. We continue to monitor that storm. We continue to watch that cell as well that is now moving out of Kalamazoo County and now right along the Kalamazoo-Calhoun County line. The west side of Battle Creek, you should be taking cover. Level Park, you need to be taking cover right now. Level Park, you should be taking cover as this is going to be moving right over you. It looks like this is now moving onto the east side of Kalamazoo County near Augusta, near Fort Custer, just to the north of I-94. So for example, the Kellogg Airport, likely seeing some of this right now. There could be some rotation and the wind here as Colin is tracking that now, putting a tracker on it to give you the location and the time of arrival in Springfield and Battle Creek over the next 10 minutes or so. Downtown Battle Creek looks like it's going to be moving in your vicinity there. Waddles Park just to the east of Battle Creek as well. Notice a change just happened there on that tornado warning box. And good news, as it looks like the focus of this is now moving over to the east side of Kalamazoo County. And so for now, with this particular cell, it looks like Kalamazoo, you're in the clear. But as Colin noted earlier, we have more severe thunderstorms that are now firing up to the west around Berrien County. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. We are in an environment where we could have tornadoes. That's why that tornado watch was issued earlier today by the Storm Prediction Center, and that goes until 9 o'clock. Colin right now is focusing in on another cell that is just about to move into southeast Branch County. Southeast Branch County. Colin, what do you have?
Yeah, a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado is located over Fremont. That's 8 miles northeast of Angola, moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. Emergency management reports a tornado is on the ground southwest of Fremont. This is a particularly dangerous situation, and you need to take shelter now.
This is going to be southeasternmost Branch County and also southwest Hillsdale County. Southeast Branch County, southwest Hillsdale County. A potentially dangerous situation with a confirmed large tornado moving out of northern Indiana and moving into southeast Branch County. If you're east of I-69 in Branch County and south of US 12, then you need to be taking cover. Montgomery, Reading, as it moves into Hillsdale County, Hillsdale itself, all in the line of fire in the next 30 minutes, I should say. So keep that in mind. If you're in that area, you should be taking cover. That's yet another tornado warning that we're working right now. Let's get back to the one that is right now in Calhoun County there, right there along Burlington. This one also potentially dangerous situation. It's right over I-69 right now. Right over I-69 right now as it continues to move off to the east. So if you're in Clarendon Township, you need to be taking cover. Quincy, you need to be taking cover. Right over Homer, Homer, you should be taking cover. Also now to the east of I-69 near Quincy, you should be taking cover as well. Here, Colin has put a tracker on that system, on that cell, moving out of Clarendon Township at 6:35 into Spring Arbor. They're at about 7 o'clock, and then moving into Jackson County and also Hillsdale County as it continues to move off to the east. Reeves Junction, they're at about 7:20. That's just yet another one of those tornado warnings that we're keeping track of. So one that is now moving out of Branch or Northern Indiana. That's the one that we're showing you here that's moving into southeast Branch County. Potentially dangerous situation, confirmed tornado. Another one right here that is right around Teconcha, moving into Clarendon Township along M60, east of I-69. You should be taking cover here. Albion, you're going to be close to it here, so you need to be taking cover. Moving up right now into Battle Creek. This cell here that is now still to the east of Galesburg here. The warning continues for easternmost Kalamazoo County. It looks like it is right now right over I-94 near the Target Distribution Center and also near Augusta, also near Fort Custer. As this moves closer to the airport there, the Kellogg Airport, as it continues to slide to the east. So again, we continue to monitor several tornado warnings. It looks like the severe thunderstorm warning that had been issued for Berrien County is gone. So that's good news, as that storm hopefully has weakened to where it's not now near severe status.
Yeah, we have an update from Kalamazoo County Emergency Management. The FedEx building at Portage Road and Stryker Way on the west side has partially collapsed. So we are now starting to get a lot more serious damage reports in. We need to take this very seriously as these storms continue to trek off to the north and the east.
Yeah, and that was one of those potentially dangerous situation tornadoes that had been warned. We told you about that going through Portage, going through the south side of I-94 there near Wing Stadium. Between Wing Stadium, the Air Museum is right in that vicinity as well. The Air Museum is there, as well as right there close to that FedEx building, which only opened in the last year or two, I believe. It's a pretty new facility there. And that would also be near the relatively new Stryker facility, which is right there along Portage, and that would be running just to the north there of the Pfizer plant. That would be just to the north of the Pfizer plant. This same system right now is right over the Kalamazoo County line. So this is right along north of I-94. Looks like it's north of I-94, but this would be I-96. This is Augusta. This is Fort Custer. This is the cemetery there as well, moving over that area to give you some landmarks. This would be headed toward you there in Level Park along M37, M43, between Battle Creek and Richland there, right along that highway. If any of those landmarks sound familiar to you, you should be in your safe place. Colin is tracking this now with our tracker at Battle Creek at 6:37. That's 5 minutes away. 5 minutes away. Looks like it will probably skirt just to the north of the city, but that's too close a call to make. So if you're in Battle Creek, if you are north of I-94, in the Battle Creek area, if you're in the Lakeview neighborhood, you should be taking cover. Certainly if you're close to the airport, you should be taking cover as this cell continues to move to the northeast. That's Tornado A. Let's talk about the one that is also producing a potentially dangerous tornado near Clarendon Township and also near Homer right now. This is in southeast Calhoun County, southeast Calhoun County. This is southeast of Marshall. This is south and east of Marshall, and you can see that here showing up right along M60. So if you're along M60 and you're east of I-69, M60 east of I-69, you should be taking cover. If you're in Clarendon, you've got to be taking cover right now. Albion, you need to be certainly thinking about it. as this might be moving just to your south, but it's going to be awfully close. And certainly if you're between Albion and Litchfield, Litchfield is in northwest Hillsdale County. If you're in that vicinity along M60, you should be taking cover. If you're around M99 there, south of I-94 in Hillsdale County, you should be taking cover. Colin is tracking this right now into Parma at about 6:55, and then it's going to be moving into Jackson County as it continues to move off to the east, moving into Jackson County as it slides off to the east. And so as Colin just mentioned, now a report that part of the FedEx building, Federal Express building that is south of the Kalamazoo airport there in Portage, apparently has collapsed. And so that, of course, is something that we're going to be working on in the newsroom to find out any kind of reports that we can get out of that. But that is from that particularly dangerous cell that is now moving up close to the airport in Battle Creek area, in the Battle Creek area. Colin's moving up there now. So that's where we're looking at here as we check out the scene right along M96. Again, this is right over Fort Custer. Right over Fort Custer here, the Kalamazoo River right there as you move from Fort Custer into Augusta. This moving off to the northeast at about 45, Battle Creek in 5 minutes. Battle Creek in 5 minutes, likely skirting just to the north, but that means Level Park, that means Springfield. You're right in the line of fire as you are in Penfield Township. But even in downtown Battle Creek, you certainly should be taking cover as this continues to move to the northeast. This tornado warning continuing here for Calhoun County, for this cell that is now, looks like it's moving now out of Calhoun County. It's right along the Kalamazoo Calhoun County border as this continues to move to the northeast. Andy has some information. Andy, what do you have?
Some information that a strip mall in Portage has been leveled, which includes a Jude's hair salon. We've just gotten some photos in from viewers, and we're going to go check that out right now. So we are hoping and praying that there are no injuries involved, but this strip mall is gone.
In Portage.
It is in Portage, and it is in Portage near Southwestage.
Near Southwestage. You know, we told you about that cell as it was moving through Portage. And so now, of course, we're very hopeful as we start to hear these reports of damage that everyone is safe. And our newsroom is checking on that aspect of the storm as well. We're keeping you up to speed on the movement of this storm. Listen, if you're in Augusta, you got to be in your safe space right now. If you're near Fort Custer, M96, if you're in Level Park, if you're in downtown Battle Creek, certainly the north side of Battle Creek, Springfield Township, Penfield Township, right on up to Assyria Township there in southern Berry County, you must be taking cover as this cell is moving to the northeast. This is the same cell that did the damage that we've heard about to the FedEx building near the airport in Kalamazoo that apparently did this damage that Andy was just telling us about that we got from a viewer photograph there. A lot of destruction there along Southwestage in Portage. Same cell now bearing down on M37 and M89 in Level Park. You got to be taking cover now as this is moving right over you. It's moving right over Fort Custer and M96 right now, the Kalamazoo River right there. It is going to be moving very close to downtown Battle Creek, just to the north of you perhaps, but again, a little bit more of a turn to the east, and it's going to be moving right over the downtown area. That's why you need to be taking cover. You need to be taking cover if you're near the Kellogg Airport. If you're in the Lakeview neighborhood, you should be taking cover as this is going to be very close to you as well. Anything north of I-94, north of I-94 in the Battle Creek area, anything north of I-94 from I-194 westward to the Lakeview neighborhood, all the way up to the northern edge of Calhoun County along M37, you need to be taking cover as this storm continues to move to the northeast. One of 3 or 4 dangerous situations we have. Colin right now is focusing in on another one. And this too is where if you're around Clarendon Township, you need to be taking cover. This again is a large and dangerous tornado that has been confirmed that is now moving along M60. Told you earlier, Clarendon Township, take cover. M99 out of Albion, all the way down to M60 in eastern Calhoun County. Take cover. If you're along M60 east of Clarendon, you need to take cover as this is a very dangerous situation as this continues to move to the east. Headed toward, that's the border with Jackson County there, just to the east of Albion. That line that you see there is the Jackson-Calhoun County line. Colin is tracking this now, moving it northeast through Spring Arbor at 7:02, moving to the Jackson Airport at 7:12. That's Reynolds Field, 7:16 in Jackson itself. And again, that's going to be traveling along I-94 once it gets there. That's in the next half hour or so. Interesting to know as well whether we have any kind of reports of damage from I-94 as this storm, I think, as it went out of Portage and made its way toward Augusta, let's say it's got to cross over I-94 in the neighborhood of the Galesburg exit or the Climax exit or the Target Distribution Center. That would be, of course, while there's traffic that's traveling east and west along I-94, something else that our newsroom is tracking. Right now, again, Colin focusing in just to the west of Battle Creek. And this is looking, again, pretty strong here, pretty strong right around Level Park here, is what we're looking at there as it moves northwest of Battle Creek. Northwest of Battle Creek. So if you're along M37, if you're near M89, if you're around Level Park, if you're around Springfield, if you're on the north side of Battle Creek, you need to be taking cover immediately all the way out towards C.O. Brown Stadium there in Penfield. As you can see, that's going to be arriving there in about 10 minutes. You've got 10 minutes there on the north side of Battle Creek as you travel M66 out of Battle Creek, moving up to the north. You go right by C.O. Brown Stadium. If you're in that vicinity of the stadium there, the baseball stadium, you should be taking cover. As there you can see now, as Colin gets in even closer, you can see what we're talking about here as we get into Battle Creek proper. There you see Level Park. There you see Springfield. You don't see Lakeview there, but Lakeview is just near Springfield there, around Columbia Avenue and south. So if you're in that vicinity, you should be taking cover. I think this is primarily going to be on the north side of Battle Creek. But let me tell you, if you're north of I-94 in Battle Creek, then you should be taking cover as this system moves by, as this cell moves by. This is the same cell that did damage in Portage that apparently caused the FedEx building there to collapse. That has done damage that we've gotten some video or some scenes in from some of our viewers of damage to a strip mall along Southwest. It's actually at Oakland Drive
and Center.
Oakland and Center.
Yes.
Okay, know exactly where that is.
And it is
right?
gone.
Oakland and Center.
It is gone.
Wow, there are several businesses there. Several businesses there, and so some damage. This is the same cell, and so you need to be taking this seriously. Level Park. North of downtown Battle Creek, Springfield Township, Springfield also moving into Penfield Township, C.O. Brown Stadium, trying to name off Kalamazoo or the Kellogg Airport, Fort Custer, trying to name off some markers for you, some landmarks so you know where we're talking about here. Even downtown Battle Creek. Again, it looks like this might move just to the north of downtown, but close enough to where you should be taking cover. Now, the warning continues for eastern Kalamazoo County, but as you can see here, as Colin is showing us, it looks like the threat is now moving out of Kalamazoo County. Looks like the threat is moving out of Kalamazoo County. I want to move to that side of southeast now of southeast Calhoun County. This looks big. This really looks big here. This is the cell, wow, that is going to be right over Homer. Right over Homer. You need to be in your shelter. Homer, right now. You need to get to your shelter in Albion. Certainly if you're south of Albion along M99, you've got to be in your shelter right now, as this also is a potentially dangerous situation. Tornado warning. A large, dangerous tornado possible here. South of Albion, Homer, you need to be in your shelter. Concord there, that would be in westernmost Jackson County. Western Jackson County. You need to be in your shelter there as well, as we're talking right along M60. Clarendon Township to the east into Homer. Again, that's where right now the focus of this cell is as it continues to move to the northeast. Albion, you need to take cover right along I-94 and south. If you're I-94, Albion, south along M99 all the way into eastern Calhoun County to Homer, then you need to be taking cover. Looks like even as far south as Litchfield, that would be in northwestern Hillsdale County. You need to be taking cover as well. As Colin has put a tracker on this here, moving into Parma, which is in Jackson County there, that at about 7:10. That would be 28 minutes from right now. 28 minutes from right now. Again, just one of a handful of these tornado warnings that we're dealing with. I will tell you this, if you're in Branch County, we still have a tornado warning for you for that cell that is now moving into southeast Kalamazoo, Calhoun County, near Homer, south of Homer. But if you're in Branch County now, I think you're pretty much in the clear now. You're pretty much in the clear, because even that cell that's off to the south that we were tracking is now moving into Hillsdale County. So this is now moving into Hillsdale County. So Hillsdale and Jackson counties, you need to be alert here, because these storms are going to be moving into your vicinity there. But right now, in northwest Hillsdale County, Litchfield, southeast of Homer and southeastern Calhoun County, Albion, you need to be taking cover. This is along and south of I-94, all the way into Parma, Spring Arbor, Concord there, south of I-94 in western Jackson County. You need to be taking cover with this cell. Let's see if, Colin, if we can get back up to Battle Creek in the Level Park area. This, again, is the cell that did damage, we now know for sure, did damage in Portage in a couple of spots. And now it is moving through Level Park. It is moving right through Level Park, just to the north side of Battle Creek, but awfully close to you there in downtown Battle Creek. As I said earlier, if you're in downtown Battle Creek north to Springfield, to Penfield Township, if you're along M66 near C.O. Brown Stadium, you need to be taking cover. This is going to be moving, headed your way there in Bellevue, moving up into Eaton and also into Berry counties. Penfield Township at 6:48, that's 4 minutes. Olivet by 7:10 as it continues to move out of our area and into Eaton County, as well as moving into southeastern Berry County. That's still in our area, but I think it's going to be pretty much moving more toward Eaton County than it will be skirting through Berry County. Even so, if you're in Assyria Township, that is southern Berry County, then you need to be taking cover here as well, as that storm is going to be getting very close to you in Assyria Township there. You can see as M66 goes all the way up to M79 there, that's when it cuts over into Eaton County. Actually, once you get north of Penfield along M66, you're in Eaton County, and then moving over toward M78 there. So that's what we're looking at as far as this cell goes. But for now, if you're in the Battle Creek area, you need to be taking cover. If you're around C.O. Brown, you need to be taking cover. If you're in Penfield Township, you should be taking cover as this continues to move to the northeast. Again, a tornado warning continuing here for that particular area. Let me see if that warning continues. Do we still have the red box on that?
Yeah, so we still have a warning for this, some rotation north of Battle Creek. The good news is it looks a little bit more broad, so we don't have a confirmed tornado on the ground, but radar is still indicating some rotation. So that tornado warning continues for that storm just to the north of Battle Creek there. And then also we have some rotation just north of Homer still. So this warning actually encompasses both tornadoes. They have one warning encompassing both tornadoes that are right now in Calhoun County.
So pretty much all of Calhoun County right now is under a tornado warning, but the big area, the focus of danger right now is north of Battle Creek and then also near Albion and south of Albion to Homer, those two areas as well. We also now, there's no warning on this, but moving to the west, there's a pretty strong cell that is now moving through Van Buren County again as we're going over to Lawrence and Decatur, right along I-94. There's some strong wind that looks like it could be starting to develop. So we'll keep an eye on this cell as well. Right now, pretty small, but like I said, we're going to monitor that one. No warning on that. So right now, only one active tornado warning. Well, two of them, as Colin said, for two cells actually, but they are both now in Calhoun County. That would be now Albion, south along M99 all the way down to near Homer, and then also just to the northeast now of Battle Creek, just to the northeast of Battle Creek, as this continues to move now toward or east of downtown Battle Creek up toward the Penfield area, right around C.O. Brown Stadium. Headed your way up there in Bellevue, which is in southwesternmost Eaton County. So I think that's going to be a concern for you there in Eaton County as well. I don't know when the latest on that warning, those warnings, do they have a coordinated time for expiration there, Colin? I'm going to check in with that and see. Right
now, both tornado warning, well, it's one tornado warning encompassing the entire county there for Calhoun County, but that's set to expire at 7 p.m. it looks like.
At 7 o'clock.
Or 7:15, excuse me.
By then, we're going to be watching these cells moving out of the Battle Creek area and moving into southern Berry County. And the threat from the other cell, which is quite potent, south of Albion along M99, that one is strong. And as that one moves along M60 there, we're going to keep an eye on that. But that's about to move into Jackson County. About to move into Jackson County. Parma, Spring Arbor, eventually Jackson. You need to keep a heads up on this cell as it's going to be moving also all the way to Reeves Junction there as Colin stretches out our time there, our tracker, moving all the way up there, as you can see, up to around Reeves there is about 7:29 as it continues to move off to the east. So if you're in Jackson County, heads up, because this cell is going to be moving south of Albion right now. If you're in Albion, you should be taking cover, by the way. Certainly if you're south of Albion, you need to be taking cover as this cell is going to be, it's moving right over, it looks like now, right along M60 and near M99. If those two highways sound familiar, if you're near the intersection, then you certainly should be in a safe spot as this cell is quite strong and did produce a tornado and might still be producing one as well as the system that is now, or the cell that is now moving through northern Calhoun County, north of Battle Creek as well. We're getting more reports, I think, of the damage that the storm has done in Portage. And thanks to our viewers who are able to safely, by the way, go out and get us some photographs. And don't forget, we want to see those on Chime In. You can go to our website, click on the Chime In tab. You can also do that on our free news app. On our free news app, you can do that as well. Looks like we've got some videos up here. Okay, we're showing you now some of the scenes here that we have coming in, showing you now some of the scenes. As you can see here, this looks like from Kathy Bangirder, and you can see some of the lowering clouds there as well. I don't know if you can repeat that one more time, barely heard. Okay, we're not seeing a lot of damage in these pictures, but we are seeing, again, some of the evidence here of those low clouds as those storms were sliding right on through West Michigan here. Just a reminder, we'd love to see your photos that you can safely get to us and on our Chime In, either on our news app. You can click on the tab. Look at these hailstones here, some of the hailstones. And as Colin mentioned earlier, a confirmed 4-inch hailstone, which is huge. I mean, that's huge even by planes. Look at this scene here from Jeff Allen. Look at this. I don't know if you can see this, Colin, showing you this right now.
Yeah.
There it is. Quite a scene. And Eric, if you can let me know where that is, that would be awesome. All right. We're going to try to get that information, but that is quite a scene. Wow. And that's what we were tracking a little bit earlier with the cells that were moving right on through the area, reminiscent of some of the stuff that we saw coming out of Oklahoma and Kansas yesterday. Of course, those were devastating in some areas. And as Andy mentioned from one of the photographs that he's seen that came to us from South Portage, Andy, tell us a little bit again about what you saw there.
There's an area right at Oakland and Center Strip Mall that includes, among other businesses, Jude's. I believe there's a Mega Bev in that area, maybe a Rite Aid too, but that strip mall is essentially gone. That picture coming in to me from a viewer about half an hour ago. Also hearing significant damage reported at Pavilion Estates, which is a mobile home park in South Portage as well, which would make sense and be consistent, Keith, with what you're saying as far as the track of this storm goes. Oh,
wow. Looking now also, Colin's showing me here a photograph of the damaged FedEx building.
Yeah.
The damaged FedEx building. A lot of damage there as well, as this is now turning from a weather story to a news story. We do have some of that damage that's coming up there from the FedEx building that we're going to be showing you here. You can see right there on the screen. And by the way, what you're watching, we continue with a tornado warning for Calhoun County, but this is just about done as one cell is now starting to make its way northeast of Battle Creek. It's headed your way there into Eaton County. But another one is now moving to the southeast of Albion. Earlier, I'd given you the warning that if you were in the neighborhood of Albion, south along M99 to M60, you need to be taking cover. That is now headed toward Parma along I-94 in Jackson County. So western Jackson County, west of US 127. You need to be taking shelter. That is Spring Arbor, for example. That is Parma. That's going to be crossing over I-94 here in about the next 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, and rotation has really weakened with that storm. That is some great news for those south of Albion and moving into Jackson County. Because of that, the National Weather Service has only issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Jackson County. So they're not seeing that rotation, and we can see that right here, looking at velocity. Notice how that rotation is really weakened as it continues to trek off to the north and the east. So just a severe thunderstorm for Jackson, but do be aware, sometimes we can see rotation become tight and strong, and then all of a sudden it will weaken, and then these storms can quickly become tight and strong again. So just keep that in mind if you're in Jackson County. Otherwise, we are still watching some very broad rotation that passed north and east of Battle Creek. Same thing with that storm. We're not really seeing a whole lot of rotation.
Right. It does seem like it is losing some of those characteristics that it had a little bit earlier. That, by the way, that cell north of Battle Creek, moving up toward Bellevue right now, is the same one that did damage in Portage, and we're seeing more video and pictures coming in, and it looks quite impressive. You can see the picture that we have right there. That is of the FedEx distribution center that is just to the south of the airport. It's between the airport and the Pfizer manufacturing facility there, and you can see quite a bit of damage there. As Andy mentioned earlier, saw a picture from a viewer about half an hour ago from the Oakland Drive Center Street area of there are a couple of strip malls there. I know there's a couple of banks there. There's, you're right, the Rite Aid is there.
131 on Center as well.
All the way to
We're now
131,
hearing,
which
yes.
would be going right over Woodbridge,
Yeah.
the neighborhood there, for example, and right down the highway there. So we have news crews right now that are working on that. If you can safely get us photographs to help us tell the story, and we really appreciate that. We're scrolling through on the right side of the screen now. You can see some of those pictures. I saw from Jeff Allen a tremendous video of a tornado. Not sure exactly which one that one was, but just a reminder, you can do that on our website by clicking on the Chime In tab. You can also do that on our free news app by clicking on the Chime In tab there as well. Don't forget, we'd love to see the time that you took it, your location. That's so important to give us the location where it came from, and then of course your name as well, which you'll fill that out whenever you submit that to us. Again, just a reminder, it looks like for now, this is starting to wind down. That potentially dangerous system tornado that is now moving out of Calhoun County. It's to your southeast in Albion. It's southeast of you there in Albion, but this is going to be an issue for I-94. This is going to be around Parma, between Spring Arbor and Parma, and then approaching Jackson. This is going to be crossing over I-94. That'd be right around mile marker 135, 133, 135, in that vicinity. That's where it's going to be crossing over the highway here as it moves to the northeast, and this still is packing quite a punch. Reynolds Field is the airport there in Jackson. You know, when you're driving east or west on I-94, you can see it. It's on the south side of the highway there, and that's where it's going to be in about another 20 minutes or so, and it does still pack a punch with some wind and also some rotating wind there as well. So that is also a very dangerous situation. But it does look like now that for our area anyway, things are starting to wind down just a little bit as we get out to a wider view here to show you what's going on here. Area wide, you can see we still have that tornado warning, and there you go. You can see that. You see the green and red there cutting near Burlington? This is the one that created the tornado emergency near Union City a little bit ago. And so we're going to also have to monitor that. We have calls out to law enforcement, for example, in Calhoun County and Northern Branch County to see what exactly happened in places like Clarendon Township and Burlington and Union City and near Girard as that cell moved through, because it was noted by the National Weather Service as a tornado emergency with a potentially dangerous confirmed large tornado that is now moving out of Calhoun County. It is moving into Jackson County. But as Colin noted earlier, the National Weather Service now noting that it has lost a lot of that rotation. A lot of the signature is gone out of that, a sign of weakening out of that, and that's why the National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Jackson County. As Colin rightly mentioned a few moments ago, still very dangerous, still packing a punch, but losing some of that rotation, could regain it. But for now, it's a severe thunderstorm warning for Jackson County, that tornado warning for Calhoun County. Essentially, I think that threat, Colin, you'd agree with me, that threat seems to be going by the wayside now that it looks like both of those cells have moved out of the area. So we continue to monitor that as well with these storms that are moving off to the east and also to the northeast. With that, I think the tornado warning, I think you said goes until 7 or 7:15 for Calhoun County.
Yeah, and it looks like now rotation has moved into Jackson County from that one storm, and rotation has really fallen apart as that storm treks northeast of Battle Creek. So I wouldn't be surprised if they go ahead and cancel this warning earlier for Calhoun County. Just seeing a little bit of broad rotation, though, now just northeast of Athens. That is not warned, though. That's not part of this tornado warning. But I am starting to see just a little bit of broad rotation, so that's just something to keep in mind. But I really wouldn't be surprised if they go ahead and drop this tornado warning early. Still seeing a lot of lightning, still seeing some heavy rain falling, so just keep that in mind. You certainly don't want to be inside, or you don't want to be outside, you want to be inside. Lots of lightning still falling. Could be some hail falling as well with these storms right now tracking in Calhoun County, moving right across I-69 just east of Burlington. And then that other storm that did produce a very large and dangerous tornado has now trekked off to the east of Albion. That's going into Jackson County. They are currently under a severe thunderstorm warning.
That warning again is continuing for now. I expect that it's probably going to be going away soon, but we're going to stay with it as long as it's around. We do have some damage, more scenes of damage coming up from Portage. We have some scenes here that we're showing you. This obviously was a very strong storm, and you can see there trees down on the car as we see more of these scenes from all around the Kalamazoo County area, around Portage. You know, we were tracking this. There you go. Now you can see trees that are split here as well. And by the way, it looks like that's coming from Julie Arch in Portage. That would be in Portage there. And so you can see here some damage to a car. Greenspire Apartments, that's off center there. That's just south of the Woodbridge neighborhood. That's what Andy said. You know, that would be the same cell, by the way, traveling from Greenspire right down and did that damage where you were talking about the strip mall.
We're hoping no injuries there, but certainly we need to find that out. And Keith, we're hearing power outages everywhere, some 25,000 at this point. Unsurprisingly, Mattawan, Texas Township, South Portage out. Also areas south of there like Colon, on the areas of Centerville where that tornado did touch down. Massive power outages right there with no estimated time of restoration of that service.
Yeah, you know, in talking about the Kalamazoo County storm, remember, while that was going on, Centerville was getting hit hard along M86 there, all the way over to Nottawa and Minden.
Yeah, Keith, we also have a report of one injury down in Portage. She was trying to take shelter from the storm, and unfortunately, she has a broken leg. So we are starting to hear of some injuries now coming in. Certainly hope everyone stayed safe as these storms trek through.
We're showing you some photographs right now. This is the FedEx distribution center. That's pretty crazy there, that scene that we just saw there. By the way, that photo that we saw earlier, notice that it said not only around Greenspire, but the little shopping center there that had the Bigby coffee there was hit. That again is right across the street on the south side of the Woodbridge neighborhood, which of course is a fairly populated neighborhood on the south side of Portage there. So Woodbridge Estates there, running right along center, if you know where I'm talking about there, center between US 131 and Oakland Drive, and then eventually doing damage to that strip mall, which is in the neighborhood of the traffic light there, which you have a couple of gas stations, you have a couple of banks, you have that some of those shops there. We're looking now at the power outage map, and you can see where there's plenty of it. You know, again, eastern St. Joe County hit pretty hard. Eastern St. Joe County hit pretty hard. From Centerville over to Minden, over to Nottawa, Colon, all hit pretty hard. And so no doubt there are going to be a lot of outages in St. Joe County, in southern Kalamazoo County, certainly south of I-94, over toward the Galesburg area. We tracked that right on into western Calhoun County. There you can see them. There you can see. And, you know, that's, Colin, right where those two storm tracks were. I mean, these power outages are running right where we had those two tornado warnings. One right along in south of M60. You can see Minden, Union City, and then the other clustered right there in Texas Township, Mattawan. We told you about those. Also there in Portage, numerous power outages in Portage south of I-94. Looks like a couple of them even in close to downtown Kalamazoo. Really mirrors exactly where those cells were running when we had those tornado warnings. Wouldn't be surprised, by the way, if we start to see more of those power outages popping up in some of the other spots as well.
Yeah, Keith, I want to point out too that if you're you're outside right now in Portage, if you're assessing damage, we do have another thunderstorm. It's not severe. There's no tornado warning associated with it, but it is producing some lightning. So if you can, try to get into a safe shelter as yet some more rain and lightning is approaching the Portage area.
Yeah, definitely don't want to be outside. Listen, if you see lightning or if you hear thunder, then you need to be inside. No matter what you're doing, it can wait until after that cell goes by. Lightning, of course, an ever-present danger when we have these thunderstorms. As Colin mentioned, no severe warning with this cell. Let's slide that over just a bit and show you what's going on in Calhoun County as we slide it to the east. We continue with that tornado warning until 7:15. We got to keep an eye, I guess, on what's going on there, perhaps, along I-69 and M60. Maybe that's just some bad data that's coming in there. But otherwise, that cell has sort of moved out now into Jackson County. So Jackson County now seeing these storms. Hillsdale County now seeing these storms as well as they continue to move off to the east. And as I said a little bit earlier, it looks like these are now becoming a little bit more of a news story and not as much of a weather story, as now we're starting to assess the damage now that these cells move through. I think that what Colin mentioned there is very important. We still have some thunderstorms that are dotting the map. And so once again, if you're out and about, to perhaps do some storm cleanup or something like that, you need to make sure that you stay safe because we still could have a couple of thunderstorms that are around the area right now as we continue to monitor that. But again, tornado warning continues for 11 more minutes for Calhoun County.
Yeah, Keith, this is actually, they've updated it. So those two tornadoes that we were tracking have now moved out of the area. Now there's a different area of some more rotation. You can kind of see that south of Marshall near Teconcha. And now they're seeing some rotation there. So it's just radar indicated. We do not have any confirmation of a tornado on the ground, but that storm is capable of producing a tornado right now near Teconcha, just east of Burlington, and that's moving east at 30 miles per hour. So we still need to take shelter in the Teconcha area. This is heading towards Clarendon as well.
And that's going to be Union City as well, a place that had a tornado emergency 45 minutes ago. So this could be a real 1-2 punch from Mother Nature here with these thunderstorms. And you can sort of see what we're talking about there as area number 1 moves out of Clarendon there, and then now area number 2 comes in to replace it as it slides right on in. It doesn't look to be as potent, but it does though. It doesn't seem to be as potent, but it is something we're going to continue to monitor. And no doubt why the National Weather Service is keeping that tornado warning going. Jessica.
All right, Keith, thanks so much. Yeah, let's take a look at this right here. This was sent in by a viewer. This is Millam and Sprinkle Road in Portage. And this is in the Golden Tree apartment area. As you can see right there, lots of trees down. It looks like the top, Keith, was just snapped off of that tree right there.
Yeah, very much so.
Debris all over the ground.
Perhaps there are some winds that were very strong, but they're aloft. You know, we often think, of course, of the wind being strongest at the ground, but it might be aloft. And that's why sometimes you'll see those trees snapped off like that as well. Andy?
Oh, just Chase Bank. Apparently it's also gone at Oakland End Center.
That's
significant damage, and that's just the epicenter of that particular storm.
That's the same intersection. I wonder how the Rite Aid is doing there. There's a drugstore there. I know there's a restaurant there. There's the gas station.
And unfortunately, this happened during business hours, so we're wondering, how people are.
And just a reminder, too, to check on your loved ones, maybe an elderly neighbor that lives alone. I'm getting a lot of text messages from my family and friends just reporting the kind of damage they're seeing. One of my friends was actually at a restaurant, and they were all in the bathrooms taking cover, sending in videos of just the trees like whipping back and forth and the hail that they saw. So yes, continue to send in your photos and pictures to us. You can do so by going to WWMT.com and looking for our Chime In page. We would love to share on air just what you experienced and what you're seeing. And also, too, we hope that you're safe.
Yeah, and Jessica, some areas such as Portage who are, trying to clean up the damage now under a severe thunderstorm warning once again. This is for Van Buren County, eastern Van Buren County into Kalamazoo County. Portage, right now that storm is pushing into Portage. This storm is capable of producing 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and also quarter-sized hail. So we do have a severe thunderstorm warning for areas like Kalamazoo, Portage, Vicksburg, Galesburg, Mattawan, Lawton, Schoolcraft, Climax, Comstock. Areas like that, we have now another severe thunderstorm warning pushing right into the area with some lightning, some heavy downpours, potential quarter-sized hail, and also some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts possible.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch that one too, Colin, as well, because it looks like there might even be some development going on there to the southeast of Mattawan that we'll have to keep an eye on too. Listen, just because we've made it through this first round of storms, we are not out of the woods yet. And a reminder that that tornado watch continues until 9 o'clock. And so we still very much have storm threats that are going on, and we're continuing to monitor them as well. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that system that is now to the southwest of Portage. But as Colin mentioned there, it has been warned for 60-mile-per-hour winds. We're talking about Portage again, headed your way in 10 minutes. And listen, even if the winds aren't that strong, if there's lightning, this is a very dangerous system, a very dangerous cell. Galesburg at 7:39, and then headed your way to Climax in East Leroy, again, coming up in about the next 30 minutes or so as this continues to move off to the east. By the way, just to the east of Tekonsha, near Clarendon, again, looks like the winds are quite strong with this particular system here as it moves right along the border there with that would be this part of the cell there that's moving right now near Clarendon there, pushing off to the east. This is right along M60. I know we just got through talking about you in Union City and Clarendon and telling you about a tornado emergency in this area. It looks like another very strong storm is moving through that area right now.
Yeah, and this rotation is tightening as well. It was very weak just even about 10-15 minutes ago, but as it continues to push near Clarendon, we are seeing some tighter rotation now. So that's why that tornado warning continues for Calhoun County. This is specifically just moved through Tekonsha, moving in the area of Clarendon, and it's going to move along M60 here as we move forward, Keith.
And by the way, I know that we don't have a lot of viewers in Hillsdale County, but southeastern Hillsdale County under a tornado warning until 7:30. Andy.
Well, I was going to say, I just have gotten numerous reports. Now, I want to stress this is unconfirmed that there may be up to 40 people trapped in this FedEx building that collapsed. Now, 5 or 6 people have told me that, and that building houses 400. It's being described by some as a mass casualty situation, which we do not have confirmed, but certainly we don't want to be bothering the emergency medical personnel. We're on our way there. We'll let you know what we find out firsthand about possible injuries at that FedEx building.
Well, you know, the photographs that we saw from there, if there was anybody inside there, it would be miraculous if nobody got hurt with the scenes that we saw from that building there. And once again, it is a reminder with all of the damage that's going on right now all around West Michigan, not just Kalamazoo and Portage, but for example, around Centerville there in St. Joe County, in southern Calhoun County. Stay off the road and stay out of the way unless you need to be there, and let the first responders do their job. We're looking right now. This is the scene. This is the FedEx building, the FedEx distribution center right there. And as we were just mentioning, if there are people who were working in there at the time, obviously there had to be a lot of debris coming down from a ceiling that was crumpling there. As you can see the damage to the building as we showed it to you there. We're now monitoring a severe thunderstorm warning now in southern, and the tornado warning continuing, by the way, for Calhoun County. This is for this cell that is running right over the same spot the first one did, right down M60. It doesn't look to be as potent, but still strong. And as Colin tracks this here, we're looking here at Clarendon Township in 5 minutes. 30 minutes ago, 45 minutes ago, we were telling you to take cover. We're telling you that again. All the way over into Concord and Spring Arbor, that would be getting into Jackson County there as it continues. And you can see there Reynolds Field, the Jackson Airport, mentioned yet again from this other cell that's moving through. So again, we want to warn you in those areas. There could be some rotation, some strong wind that's coming in there as well. There's some indication there's a very strong wind to the east of Tekonsha near Clarendon. Homer, you should be taking cover in Homer as well. Continuing to monitor the severe thunderstorm warning as well as we back over to Kalamazoo County. This is headed your way there in Portage. So this is going to be moving through yet again. There you can see radar indicated 60-mile-per-hour winds possible with this. Could have 1-inch diameter hail. Could have 1-inch diameter hail with this. This is going right over the same area where we have noted that damage just a little bit ago that happened about an hour ago, a little more than an hour ago, along and south of I-94, places like Oakland Drive, Texas Township, for example, certainly Portage, over toward, Andy mentioned Pavilion Estates, which is on the east side of Sprinkle there in eastern Kalamazoo County, east of the airport. Andy?
Well, no, I'm just getting in some more, an aerial view now of the FedEx facility, which looks, the middle of it is gone. It is, a third of that building has collapsed.
We do have a crew headed to the scene there right now. They haven't been able to get there, possibly because of the debris in the roadways. We also have crews all over southeast Michigan tonight. Princess will be coming live to us in Van Buren County. Autumn will be live, I believe, in Kalamazoo County as well. Lots of power outages being reported all across the area. If you look at the Consumers Energy power outage map in Texas Township, more than 2,000 people affected. Estimated recovery time not until later on this evening. And there's also plenty of folks without power that is off Oakland Drive, about more than 1,000 people there, which is right near where that tornado touched down. And if you are going outside to take a look at the damage, just be aware of down power lines. Stay away and stay safe.
That's for sure. And also make sure, unless you have business outside in those areas, especially in places like in Portage, there's going to be a lot of first responders who are trying to do their job, and we certainly don't want to get in their way. You're looking right now at the power outage map, and I got to tell you, as I said this to Colin a little bit earlier, this really mirrors perfectly the two potentially dangerous tornadoes that we were tracking. Number one, right through the Portage area. You can see west of I-94. We were calling out Texas Township. We were calling out Matawan. We were calling out the Portage area, and there you can see. We've seen a lot of damage now along Center Street there in Portage. That would be near the Woodbridge Estates, Woodbridge Hills neighborhood there, and then right on down south there of that area as well. Long Lake you can see there, West Lake you can see power outages. And then as we move to the south, if we can slide our map to the south just a little bit, you'll see where we have that second area that's down in St. Joe County. Let's move that map to the south a little bit more and then off to the southeast, and there we go, where we're picking up those outages as well. There you go, near Leonidas and near Mendon and near Sherwood and near Colon and also near Centerville, for example. We were calling out those names as well. That's the second area of thunderstorms that also, from the National Weather Service, had a confirmed dangerous and large tornado. We're going to see, I would not be surprised at all if we start seeing Tekonsha popping up, for example, in Burlington with more of those power outages as well as those storms continue to move off to the east. Colin.
And Keith, I have a good update. The tornado warning in Calhoun County has been allowed to expire. That storm that they were keeping track of has lost its rotation, and so they went ahead and expired that tornado warning for Calhoun County.
And that means the only thing we have, I believe, the only active warning we have right now, I believe, is going to be in Kalamazoo County for that cell that is now running close to Portage, headed your way there in Portage, I believe. Oh no, I'm sorry. Severe thunderstorm warning does continue for Calhoun County as well. In fact, Colin, you have them. Why don't you tell us what we still have?
Yeah, so right now we have that severe thunderstorm warning for Kalamazoo County. This is moving right through Portage, still seeing some lightning there. Also going to be seeing some quarter-sized hail, so please make sure you're in a sturdy building and safe from that storm. Severe thunderstorm warning right now just tracked through Texas Township. It's moving along I-94 in between Kalamazoo and Portage. Also a severe thunderstorm warning continues for southeastern Calhoun County. 70-mile-per-hour winds are possible with that storm. So it's lost its rotation. We're not going to be dealing with a tornado, but there is 70-mile-per-hour winds, especially down near Clarendon, heading towards Homer with that storm. So it's still going to be a very powerful storm. We could have hail up to quarter size. So you'll want to make sure to take shelter if you're in southeastern Calhoun County. Right now, we're also seeing another storm developing. It looks like it's intensifying, moving south of Burlington. That's also heading towards Clarendon. So we're just seeing more and more storms popping up. We're not out of the woods just yet.
Yeah, they just shifted, by the way, the severe thunderstorm warning. You can see they trimmed it off a good portion of Calhoun County. Who does that matter to? Marshall and Battle Creek. You're now out of the woods. There are no warnings, at least for now. There are no warnings in effect for you. But I do want to note It's not warned yet, but near Girard, west of I-69, that's where there could be some very strong winds that are developing here. We're going to have to keep an eye on that. If you are north of Coldwater, but south of the Calhoun County line near Girard, west of I-69, some very strong wind that looks like it's developing there. That's on the back edge of this line of thunderstorms that contains those very strong winds around Clarendon and also in Homer. You know, Storm Prediction Center out with some reports as well near Mendon, Leonidas, and then of course in Portage as well with those reports. I believe we have some news coming in now. Andy and Jess.
Just got some more information about more damage to businesses on Southwest Edge in the area of Center as well. We do have a team of reporters out there monitoring damage. We are still trying to find out what, if any, injuries there may be as a result of multiple tornadoes that touched down.
Let's go straight to Autumn Pitcher. She's live at the scene right now in Portage. And what are you seeing?
Yeah, you can see, guys, it has started to rain again, but we're in the meat of the area right here on West Edge, right off of Garden Lane, where we can see all kinds of damage, including down power lines. It's really hard to get around anywhere you go. I want to show some of that right now. So you can see this sign right here from one of the businesses is completely out. And also, if you move aside here, you can see the business over on this side where it's all the windows. You can see windows down, siding. And so I also really want to show you the street right now. I'm actually picking up my phone because we're getting wet, but I want to show you the street right now because you can see all kinds of down power lines, and we're going to show you that. Also across the street, we're right by the Campbell Auto Supply Shop, and you can see the roof had been ripped off and also the siding completely off as well. And really just about everywhere you turn on this street, you can see pieces of the buildings and also trees as well. It's just really a mess out here. Now, I want to show you right next to the Campbell Auto Supply Shop where you can see houses all the way on the other side with roofs torn off. So it has been just a very terrible scene out here. And I also wanted to mention that I spoke to a man. He was actually in that Campbell Auto Supply Shop and he was injured himself. He was a customer. He showed me his arm and it was all scraped up. So we actually do know that some people have been injured, and we hope the best and that everyone stays safe out here. So I'll send it back to you for now.
All right, Autumn, thanks so much. And we are hearing possibly someone else was reported injured, someone reporting a broken leg, and I think that was in the Portage area as well.
Correct.
We're still waiting to hear from first responders, the Kalamazoo County Emergency Management on additional injuries at all, and we're hoping to hear that shortly.
We will. We certainly want to let them do their job. We know a tornado, a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Kalamazoo County right now after all of that, and you know, you guys are still tracking that severe weather.
Yeah.
And something else to note as well, you know, you saw in that live shot there with Autumn that folks are out walking around. You saw power lines that are laying in the street.
That are live.
They are live. And so that's another reason, unless you have business to be outside, it's just a good idea to hunker down and to stay inside, not only for your own safety, but to allow those first responders, this is not the time for gawking, for sure, to allow those first responders to do their job. And also another reason, we still have thunderstorms in the area with that severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 8 o'clock that Colin has for you there.
Okay, we have a
tornado
warning, and it's observed in Portage. We have yet another observed tornado in Portage. This just coming in from the National Weather Service. I'm going to go ahead and read that for you if we can get this warning pulled up real quick. Once again, a confirmed tornado on the ground in Portage. Just give me 1 second to pull it up. Perfect.
At 7:20, a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado near Portage moving east at 30. East at 30. This is a particularly dangerous situation. Take cover now. This from the National Weather Service. This tornado will be near Galesburg and climax at 7:30. Near Galesburg and climax at 7:30 and approaching Battle Creek at 7:35. Other locations would be Comstock, Augusta, Scotts, the climax in Scotts area. So again, reading right from the National Weather Service bulletin that just came out. This is for East Central Kalamazoo County. tornado warning for east central Kalamazoo County. Particularly dangerous situation, a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado near Portage moving to the east at 30. Weather spotters have confirmed this tornado. This is a life-threatening situation. So again, if you are east of Portage in particular, if you're from Portage east, you can see where we have that box. And actually, Colin has timed it out for us there. Climax at 7:44, East Leroy at 7:55, moving into the Battle Creek area here in about 30 to 40 minutes as this is moving to the east at 30. It's not moving as fast as those other cells were. But again, a confirmed large, dangerous tornado. This out from the National Weather Service. So a new warning until 8:15. This goes from Portage to the east. So it looks like this is going to be mainly along I-94. You can see where that red box is. And so some of the communities that are impacted here are going to be Comstock, Augusta, Climax, Scotts, Galesburg, and eventually moving into Battle Creek. We're going to be talking about some of these same locations that we talked about just a little bit earlier. And so we're going to continue to have to monitor this. We're not out of the woods yet.
Yeah, correct. And you know, it's hard to find on velocity, but we have several calls from the National Weather Service, or callers calling the National Weather Service that said a large tornado is on the ground right now near Portage.
Yeah, oftentimes you see it radar indicated and you don't actually spot it. In this particular case, several spotters have seen it. But you're right, it doesn't show.
It's hard to find on radar, but we have confirmed reports right now near Portage of a large and dangerous tornado on the ground.
This would be, according to our radar returns here, looks like probably in the neighborhood of Westnedge, eastward, maybe Lover's Lane over toward, let's say right around Portage Road, and then Sprinkle, against some of the same spots we were talking about earlier, Pavilion Estates, for example.
And just hearing now from the city of Portage, city officials, Ashton Woods development hit very hard, described as a war zone. So many roads closed, trees down. It is impossible to access Portage City Hall.
That, by the way, Ashton Woods there is to the west of Westnedge, and that is along and north of Center.
Yes, it is.
That gives you, you know what, that would be the same cell that went past the Oakland Drive and Center Street intersection.
Just took out those businesses that line both sides of the road.
So this obviously went right down Center Street.
Sure did.
Right down Center Street.
Sure did.
We have another Portage, or another threat for a tornado here, a tornado warning that goes until 8 o'clock, until 8 o'clock, or until 8:15, excuse me, 8:15. Just out from the National Weather Service. They issued this 4 minutes ago. So just to read it to you again, a particularly dangerous situation. Weather spotters have confirmed a tornado here. Large and extremely dangerous tornado moving east at 30, and it is moving east of Portage right now. It looks like, for example, likely in the neighborhood of, let's say, the airport, right along I-94, Sprinkle, headed your way over there. We talked about Pavilion Estates earlier. It looks like this could be another one that is going to be moving Sprinkle Road east and then also along M96. So Galesburg, take cover. We talked earlier about the Target Distribution Center at exit 88, the Climax exit there. You need to be taking cover in that particular area as well. We're going to continue to try to find any reports that we can. As Colin mentioned, the other tornadoes that we've been tracking have been easy to spot on radar. This one, not so much. This one is not so much, but actually the verification from this doesn't come from radar, it comes from a better source, and that's eyes of trained spotters who are watching these storms now moving to the east. It looks to me like this would probably be south of I-94. South of I-94, so for example, to the north of Pavilion Estates, that would be Sprinkle Road area, and then eastward, moving along and south of I-94. Galesburg, but certainly Galesburg, south of Galesburg, you need to be taking cover. Anywhere in this box, let me tell you that, anywhere in this box, you should be taking cover. But it looks like the focus of this, Climax, it's headed your way. Galesburg, it's headed your way. Augusta, it looks like it's headed your way as well. And it will be interesting to see what the National Weather Service does with this tornado warning once this cell gets to the Calhoun County line as it continues to move to the east.
We are still tracking the Consumers Energy power outage map at this hour. I'm going to tell you some of the hardest hit areas. In Texas Township, West Q Avenue, hard hit, more than 1,000 folks without power tonight. Moving eastward into Portage Road area. This is East U Avenue. Again, more than 1,000 people affected by power outages in this area. And then Oakland Drive, right there near Shaver Road, which is where we're reporting damage for the last couple of hours now. And then in the southern aspects of our viewing area, we also are seeing, oh my goodness, tons of power outages here in the Colon area. And then just south of Centerville as well. So as you can see right here, Long Lake, Palmer Lake, Fairfax, all south of Colon, hundreds of, yes, more than 1,000 people without power. Andy?
Just hearing from the Kalamazoo County Sheriff a few moments ago, he is urging folks to stay indoors, to stay off the roads. There are trees down, many roads impassable. There are live power lines down everywhere. And with even more approaching weather, Sheriff Richard Fuller advising everyone within the sound of our voice, and especially in Kalamazoo County, in the city of Kalamazoo and Portage, to stay inside. And when we say seek shelter, of course, that means go to the lowest level of your home, a basement, a small interior room, and cover yourself with a table if you have to, and certainly stay away from windows and doors right now if you're in the path of this new tornado that just became a warning.
Yeah, exactly. We're waiting for more reports on that as well, because it was cited by several spotters. Listen, the National Weather Service doesn't say this in a warning unless they have confirmation. And this is now 8 minutes ago, a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado moving to the east from Portage at 30 miles per hour. And as Colin mentioned a little bit earlier, we're not able to see it as well as we were able to see the other ones that moved through, but it does look like this one right now is along I-94 or south of I-94 in eastern Kalamazoo County. And just echoing, Andy, what Sheriff Fuller said, I'm sure that the sheriffs from Calhoun County and from Branch County and from St. Joe County and from Van Buren County would say the same thing. Please stay away, let the first responders do their jobs, and you're endangering yourself if you go out in this, because as we saw from Autumn's picture a while ago, Autumn Pitcher's picture a while ago, power lines are in the streets in many locations.
Yeah, Keith, we had some reports of a confirmed tornado on the ground near Portage. More people are confirming a large and extremely dangerous tornado. It was located near Galesburg. This is moving east at 35 miles per hour. If you are in Galesburg, Climax, this is heading right for your direction. Climax, it'll be there within the next minute or two. You need to get to your safe spot right now.
That will be right over, by the way, the Target Distribution Center, which is right there at exit 88, right there at exit 88, and that's just a couple of miles before you hit the Kalamazoo-Calhoun County line. Speaking of Calhoun County, just out from the National Weather Service, severe thunderstorm warning for Calhoun County. For Calhoun County, this is for the cell that you see near Burlington along M60, Clarendon Township. Again, we're talking about you right along M60 here with the potential for wind gusts of 60 miles per hour. So again, from the National Weather Service, issued 3 minutes ago, severe thunderstorm warning for southern Calhoun County as a severe thunderstorm located near Burlington, 7 miles north of Coldwater, moving northeast at 25, radar indicated 60 mile per hour gusts and also quarter-size hail. So that joins the tornado warning that is in effect as well now for eastern Kalamazoo County as well. Again, that's been spotted now near Galesburg. It was spotted near Portage. It's spotted near Galesburg. This is going to be right along I-94. If you're along I-94, if you're within a few miles either side of 94, certainly if you're south of it, then you need to be taking cover. If you're near the Target Distribution Center, you need to be taking cover. Does look like to me that this is mainly just south of I-94 here. So this is going to be moving right to the south of the distribution center there, right over Climax, right there into western Calhoun County near East Leroy, and then approaching the Lakeview neighborhood, approaching B Drive and the businesses there along I-94, for example, and I-194 there, right there where the business district is that is south of downtown Battle Creek. Now, that's not warned for a tornado yet, but that cell is making a beeline to the east, and it will be interesting to see if we continue to have visual confirmation as we've had of a tornado when this particular cell is moving through. Jessica.
I'm on Facebook right now, and it may be too soon for this, but some folks are saying it could be an EF4.
Oh, well, that's way too soon.
Way too soon. We have to wait for the National Weather Service folks to come in, assess all the damage.
Exactly. And, you know, lots of tornado enthusiasts will give their opinion on that. And, you know, from the damage, I understand that from some of the damage, but some of the folks, you know, what the Weather Service is going to be looking at is how sturdy were those buildings to begin with. For example, if you have a large warehouse, that might not be as damage proof, let's say, from something like this as you would have, let's say, from a very sturdy concrete structure or something like that. So, but interesting to note from folks who are seeing that, and no doubt the National Weather Service out of Grand Rapids and out of northern Indiana are going to have their work cut out for them over the next 24 to 48 hours trying to figure that out.
People are also reporting, Keith, gas leaks due to the damage too, which poses another threat. Sometimes you can't smell or see, obviously, the gas leaks in your home or neighborhood. So be aware of that as well.
Right now, that cell that is moving to the east side of Kalamazoo County looks like south of I-94, approaching climax. You need to be in a safe space right there. That would be where there's been visual confirmation of this. I think for Colin, would probably speak for him to say, like, it's a little frustrating when you can't really see the couplets.
Yeah,
we've been able to see it before, but what we're seeing right now, though, is definitely some signs of some strong winds that are coming down with it, some strong winds that are coming with that system. This is right around Charleston Township. This is south of Augusta, south of I-94, but this is almost now to the Kalamazoo County line. Exit 92, for example, if you're familiar with that, that's about to approach that area right there, so it'll be interesting to see whether the National Weather Service there is going to extend that tornado warning. I believe Andy has some more news.
With the police chief in Galesburg, they do have injuries reported there as a result of the previous storms, and they are evacuating an apartment complex right now in Galesburg as they wait for this other storm that seems to be heading their way as we speak.
That other storm is imminent.
Yes.
I mean, it is imminent.
Right now, seeing a little better rotation in between Galesburg and Climax. That storm moving to the east at 30 miles per hour. That area is still under a tornado warning. So if you're in between areas like Charleston and Climax, that's where we're seeing some of that rotation, and this is going to continue to push off to the east. Looks like approaching I-94 right at the Kalamazoo-Calhoun County line.
Galesburg's exit 85, the Climax exit is exit 88, so it's 3 miles away. And then you get to exit 92, which is the first Calhoun County exit on 94. So you sort of have some mile markers there to get an idea of where we're talking about. This looks to me like it's right now, right around the Target Distribution Center, which is right around exit 88, which is the Climax exit there. And as this moves to the east, as Colin mentioned here, it's going to be approaching the Calhoun-Kalamazoo County line, which is going to be, again, that's at about the 90-mile marker. About the 90-mile marker there as this continues to move to the east. If you're in that vicinity, you need to be taking cover because this storm could have some rotation. This is the one, again, that several trained spotters saw rotation or saw a tornado out of this. And so even though, again, it doesn't look as impressive on the radar, when we've got trained eyes that are seeing it, then it's there. You can see that Colin here is tracking it to the east. It is over Climax right now. Sonoma moving into the Emmett Township area as well. That would be on the east side of Battle Creek. So it's going to continue to move off to the east. It looks like this is going to be running right down I-94 again. And you know, Andy, Jessica and Colin, with the damage that we've seen, for example, in Portage, knowing some of these cells also have been going over I-94, I'm just surprised that so far we haven't seen any reports of trucks being blown over or something like that. It certainly is a threat, even now with this cell that is right near exit 88 along the interstate.
And some of these high-profile vehicles are especially vulnerable, and you know they're supposed to pull over. Do they? Who knows? You know, do they get the message? Of course. I'm hearing now from Kalamazoo Public Safety, and we are not aware, nor are they of any serious injuries as a result of these tornadoes. Of course, that's going to change potentially as they find more and more people, more damage. But at this point, not hearing of any serious injuries in the city of Kalamazoo.
Yeah, Andy, a spotter confirmed a touchdown just southwest of Galesburg about 4 or 5 minutes ago. They're going to go ahead and continue this tornado warning for Calhoun County. This is heading east. Just south of Battle Creek. It's going to be trekking right around I-94. Tornado warning incoming for Calhoun County. They haven't issued it yet, but the National Weather Service has confirmed that they will be issuing one here very shortly. the tornado warning just came in there for Calhoun County.
So if you are in the neighborhood of I-94 in western Calhoun County, if you're around exit 92, if you're around exit 95, which is Helmer Road, you need to be taking cover because this is going to be moving in your direction here. In fact, it already is. And so as Colin mentioned, and there you can now see that box that just went red on us there. That's the tornado warning now for Calhoun County there, as it just popped up here with the box there. And I believe that that is going to be going until, let me get that up here just for a second. Here it is. That goes until 8:30. So that's until 8:30. Colin is tracking this here to the east. This is going to be running right down I-94. If you have any friends or family that for whatever reason, you know, they might be on the interstate or they might be heading to the interstate, might be thinking about traveling our way from Detroit or might be thinking about traveling our way to Detroit or Ann Arbor, no, don't go along I-94 right now because these storms are moving right along the interstate. You can see their climax at 737 right now. And then continuing to move off to the east, eventually there, that would put it over the I-94 and I-194 interchange there in downtown Battle Creek, likely in about another 10 minutes or so. So in about another 10 minutes. And if it stays on that track, by the way, it's going to be more of a threat for the Lakeview neighborhood. It's going to be more of a threat for the B Drive commercial area, where there are a lot of big stores there along B Drive and also I-94.
Service reminding folks, if you are speaking to a loved one or a friend who is driving, that the safest place really is in a ditch. If you see the tornado, you want to get out of your car. And I know that's counterintuitive because you feel safer in a car, you're not. And also you're not safer under an overpass or a bridge because the wind will tunnel through there and actually pick up speed, which could do more damage. And of course it could collapse as well. So don't go out if you don't have to, and get folks off the road if you can.
That's right. Local law enforcement is advising people to stay off the roads, especially Portage Department of Public Safety, the Kalamazoo County Sheriff's Office. If your loved one needs help, call 911, stay at your home and stay safe.
Another person reporting a dangerous tornado on the ground near Climax. So this is speeding up a little bit now. We're noticed that it's moving northeast now at about 40-45 miles per hour. So people east of Climax, this tornado is headed in your direction. Several reports of a tornado on the ground right now.
We continue to watch this tornado warning now. That's what Colin was just talking about. And, you know, as Andy had mentioned about the highway, as we said earlier, nobody right now who knows what's going on needs to be on I-94. That's for sure, because this is going to be running right down the interstate there. And it looks like the winds are really getting intense with this too. Colin looking right now for any kind of debris detection there and to see if anything is being lifted because this does look like it. Look, this one has been spotted by several spotters as recently as Galesburg. And so that means that it is now near Climax. It is near the Target Distribution Center. It is right near the Kalamazoo-Calhoun County line, right along the interstate. I mean, this looks to me like it is right along the interstate, maybe a little bit north of that. And by the way, if it does steer a little bit to the northeast, then it is headed right for the Kellogg Airport, it's headed right for the Lakeview neighborhood, and it's headed right for downtown Battle Creek. If it moves to the east and stays along I-94, then it's headed your way there, Harper Creek, for example, B Drive, and then also eventually Binder Park, which is just south of I-94 there, south of Battle Creek.
Yeah, right now, rotation is tightened up right over I-94 on the Kalamazoo-Calhoun County line. This storm continues to trek to the northeast at about 45 miles per hour, and we're getting some reports from this storm, what it did in Portage, seeing some reports of 2-inch sized hail in diameter. This is that same storm that just moved through Portage. The second storm that moved through Portage produced some 2-inch diameter hail. Now this is moving in the direction of Battle Creek.
So that's going to continue to move right down the interstate as well. You can imagine that's not going to be safe either if it's dropping 2-inch diameter hail on cars that are traveling right now on the interstate there. So yet another reason why that area is not safe right now. Again, tornado warning here. This is now pretty much moving into Calhoun County. Climax, Augusta, you're still in it. But it was noted earlier by a spotter in Galesburg several minutes ago, moving to the the east. It does look to me like it's intensifying. Certainly the wind is getting quite strong with this, and now it does look like it might be moving, Colin, to me, maybe moving just a little bit to the north of I-94. But again, that's too close to call. Listen, if you're in the box with this tornado warning, which includes Battle Creek, it includes Level Park, which we were putting the warning out for a little bit ago, then you need to be taking cover. It does extend all the way to the eastern edge of Calhoun County, so we need to keep an eye on that as well. But right now, it looks like the focus of this is going to be just inside the Calhoun County line. This would be near exit 92, for example. We're talking about Cedar Creek Golf Course. We're talking about the Battle Creek, the Kellogg Airport there, just to the north of I-94 there. So this is going to be headed your way. In fact, should be arriving right in the Lakeview neighborhood shortly if it's not already there, starting to move again, getting closer to Battle Creek. This one has been spotted. This is not radar indicated. It is actually spotter seen. It has been witnessed. It has been viewed. And so we're going to continue monitoring that. But right now, if you are in western Calhoun County, you need to be taking cover. If you're in the Lakeview neighborhood, you should be taking cover. If you're in Battle Creek, you should be taking cover. If you're along B Drive, along I-94 and B Drive, you should be taking cover at least all the way to I-194, the penetrator, at least all the way to I-194, and maybe even beyond. Perhaps you certainly need to be keeping an eye on it all the way to exit 104 at Firekeepers Casino, because this is going to be moving to the east, and we're going to continue to monitor it as well. As we continue to monitor some of those damage reports coming in too, I'm looking right now at one of our monitors where there's video, or actually a live picture from the FedEx distribution center. And it's crazy. It's just crazy. You see these reports coming in from other places, but now here it is in West Michigan in Kalamazoo. Andy?
We're seeing our Nate Brown on the scene there, wondering if we should be talking with him. Nate, can you hear us there? Yeah, we've got to get the camera lens clean because of all the rain, of course, which is going to be a common problem tonight.
While we wait on Nate, they'll cue you, Andy, I'm sure. But while we do that, I just want to again remind folks in western Calhoun County, if you're around exit 92, exit 95, Helmer Road, exit 98, Capitol Avenue, you need to be taking cover as there could be a tornado headed your way. All
right, Nate Brown is at the scene of the partially collapsed FedEx ground facility in Portage. Nate, can you hear us? And if so, what can you tell us?
Well, as you can see, an absolute travesty here on Portage Road. The FedEx ground building taking an absolutely huge hit due to this severe weather and tornado rolling through not too long ago. As you can see, this entire side of the building completely blown out, just damaged left to right, seemingly as far as you can see. A newer building taking damage such as this, absolutely unheard of, unparalleled when considering this building is so brand new. Now, some of this damage did work its way to the other side of this entire complex, making its way even onto some of the Stryker property on the opposite side. But at this moment in time, unsure of the amount of injuries that might have been sustained. We haven't heard anything finite yet from emergency service crews here. We'll look to keep you guys posted as we get more details. Reporting live from Portage Road in downtown Kalamazoo, Nate Brown, News Channel 3.
Boy, it's hard to look at all that damage, and certainly we know that there were a lot of people in the building when that tornado hit. We are hoping that the injuries, if there are any, are minor.
Yeah, and you know, when you see that building in the shape that it's in, think of all that debris that had to have been lifted into the air. And that's another reason, by the way, that you need to be inside whenever one of these storms comes by, because that debris had to go somewhere. As Nate said, it's likely to be found on the other side of the building, but when it's lifted and thrown, that's when it can become very dangerous to folks who are not directly maybe in the path or damage area of the tornado, but are still becoming casualties, let's say, as a result. Colin has a storm update.
As of 7:43 p.m., a confirmed tornado was located over Battle Creek, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. Weather spotters confirmed a tornado over Battle Creek, and that continues to move off to the northeast at 40 miles per hour.
Can we get our Battle Creek camera up there, see if we can get a look at downtown Battle Creek as that storm moves through? You know, I told you in the Lakeview neighborhood, the airport, now next up, downtown Battle Creek. This is a look right now with our live Battle Creek camera here This is looking to the southeast, by the way. This storm would be coming from the southwest or the west. It'd be coming from the southwest or the west. Looking at some of the trees here to see if there's any wind. I'm not seeing anything blowing around just yet. I know on our radar there, it's looking like, of course, the data there, a couple of minutes old, but it's looking like it's still making its way through perhaps the western suburbs there, the western neighborhoods, for example, the Lakeview neighborhood. But this is a view right now in downtown Battle Creek. Can you read once again? Or Andy's got something for us. Go ahead.
I just have an update, and I just spoke with the Kalamazoo Department of Public Safety Chief Dave Boyson, who says city spared, no injuries reported here. And Keith, you and I were talking about 44 years ago this week.
Yeah.
You know, of course, the infamous 1980 tornado that killed 5 and injured many more. Yeah. The damage we're seeing is reminiscent of some of what we saw downtown in 1980. But the fact that there are no injuries reported in the city is fantastic news.
That's great news. Hopefully, we'll be able to stay the same, or say the same, I should say, from all that damage that we saw down in Portage. To me, it'd be miraculous if we don't have any kind of serious injuries when you look at the FedEx facility there. And then when also you look at the damage that was coming in from Center Street. You know, talked about Ashton Wood's neighborhood there looked like a war zone. I mean, those are houses that folks were no doubt in, and hopefully they were taking cover in basements or in closets. But, you know, sometimes you do what you can, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to stay safe.
And just a reminder, too, if you are in the path of the storm right now, moving through Calhoun County, the best place to go is an underground area, especially if you're outside, you know, as Andy mentioned, in a ditch, or if you're indoors, head to your basement or storm cellar, which will provide the best protection. If this is not available to you, then seek a small interior room or a hallway on the lowest floor possible in your home. Stay away from doors, windows, and outside walls, and then stay in the center of the room and try to avoid the corners because they often attract debris. Again, rooms constructed with reinforced concrete, brick, or block are always the safest place.
The epicenter of this, if you will, really is Oakland Center, and we now have a live reporter on the scene to show us the damage there. Princess Shawnee Steverson just arriving, and my goodness, to look behind you is certainly devastation.
That's correct, Danny. And it's like you mentioned, we're here at this local strip mall in Oakland Center. And if you look just behind me, like you said, you can see where the entire back area of this local strip mall has just been ripped out from the back end. You'll see we've got some local residents who are getting together. Looks like they're just trying to clean out what they can of what hasn't been damaged. You even see we've got some yellow tape down just to steer clear of this area because there is a lot of debris in the area. Not just even broken down tree. I'm even seeing scraps of metal, some broken glass. And then if we just take a look to our right, we're going to go ahead and walk down here. You'll see a red SUV. There's also a red Jeep on the other side. They've both got those down trees just crashed completely down on them. And if you go even further to our right, you'll see some more damage just across the way at a local car wash. You'll see we've got some first responders coming down as well. And even just a half mile on the way here, we did see some houses and some neighborhoods. One house completely demolished. There's a tree straight down on it. You'll see traffic's even flowing a little slow as people are just trying to figure out where they're supposed to go right now. There's a road on the other side of us right now that's blocked, as you can see. We'll show you in a while, where there are some down power lines and trees. You'll see some more residents just came in right now. Somebody's got a wagon attached to their van, just trying to help out and clean up some of this stuff. In the meantime, we're going to see if we can try and talk to some residents. You'll see people coming in bathrobes. It looks like they're just trying to come in and help and see what they can do. And we're going to try and talk to them and see really what this tornado has done to them and what people have lost. And you can see it's pretty tremendous. So we'll be right back. And for now, we are live in Portage. I'm Princess Shawnee Steverson, News Channel 3.
All right, Princess, thanks so much. Let's take a live look right now over downtown Battle Creek.
Yeah, things have changed quite a bit. You know, Colin mentioned just a few moments ago that a tornado was spotted and was moving over downtown Battle Creek. So we're watching right here. Things have gotten certainly a little worse from the view that we took just a few moments ago. We're trying to see if we can see any evidence of the wind blowing strong there. We have seen the rain blowing quite a bit. It's difficult to see right now because, of course, of the rain that is pelting the camera. But this is the scene right now in downtown Battle Creek. Colin, why don't you read to us again what you saw there from a spotter?
Yeah, so from the National Weather Service, weather spotters confirmed a tornado just west of Battle Creek near Garrelsburg. It's moving over Battle Creek right now. Flying debris is possible. The tornado will be near Brownlee Park right about now. That's right from the National Weather Service. Once again, a confirmed tornado is located over Battle Creek, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. Can certainly see that heavy rain coming down now. Possibly some hail with this storm as well. And we have that confirmation that a tornado is nearby.
It looks like that's now going to be moving off to the east, which we're watching this camera view. This is looking to the east-southeast here. For example, you can see the Kellogg Food Science building there in the distance there. That's the low-topped building there. So we're waiting to see here if we can see anything going by. I don't necessarily see anything there. But we're going to continue to keep an eye on it. It looks like this is now around C.O. Brown Stadium.
Yeah, Brownlee Park is where we're seeing some rotation right now.
And so that's going to be moving to the northeast side, Penfield. If you're in Penfield, you need to be taking cover. If you're in Emmett Township, you should be taking cover. If you're north of I-94, there you can see Waddles Park. You need to be taking cover along Waddles Park there. That is along I-94, also the I-94 business loop there on the east side. This is going to be close to, not too far away from the Kellogg and Post plants, by the way, right there, Verona Road and Emmett, Waddles Park. I mean, this is right there in the neighborhood of the Kellogg plant and of the Post plant, as well as this moves off to the east. So if you're in that vicinity, you should be taking cover. As we have a tornado warning, it is for that particular part of the cell that is now moving to the east of Battle Creek. As we continue to watch that moving eastward, Colin's going to track it for us, moving into Clarence and then Springport and Parma as well. This would eventually likely stay north of I-94, so perhaps not as big of a threat as it moves, for example, close to exit 104 and the casino, Firekeepers Casino there. So that would be good news if it stays to the north of that, but that's something that we're going to have to continue to monitor. But according to our radar return, it looks like that's going to be right around the Kellogg and Post plants, manufacturing plants on the east side of Battle Creek right now.
Another outage just reported just east of 69 in the area that we're talking about, but a little further east of Firekeepers Casino to make things worse. Now, if you are able to charge your phones, because if you lose power and you lose your ability to communicate or hear us, certainly we want you to know what's happening via our app, our severe weather app, and be able to talk to folks and let them know where you are and what's happening where you are.
That's right. We're also getting reports from Portage Public Safety, from the Kalamazoo County Sheriff's Office. Stay off the roads. We know that you're concerned about your loved ones, or that maybe you want to go outside and look for damage and see what's happening, but stay inside. We have down power lines everywhere. There's debris all across the road, flooding in certain areas. I've seen pictures from Oshtemo Township with cars just flooded and people stalled on the side of the road. So it's just safe to stay at home. And if something were to happen, of course, call emergency.
We're going to continue monitoring this tornado warning, because this right now is a priority one for keeping folks alert. And that is now on the east side of Battle Creek, Emmett Township here, moving just to the south of Penfield Township, Brownlee Park, C.O. Brown Stadium. If those are familiar to you, you need to be taking cover. This is going to be mainly, I think, north of I-94, mainly north of I-94. A moment ago, as I was mentioning, I think this is going to be in the vicinity of the Kellogg and Post manufacturing plants, moving off to the east. And so again, we want you to be aware. If you are along or north of I-94, east of Battle Creek, all the way to I-90 or I-69, you need to be taking cover all the way over toward the Calhoun-Jackson County line.
And also, I'm getting reports too from our viewers that we're seeing a lot of damage near the airport at a mobile home park. So that's something we're hearing from our viewers. And also we're hearing that there could be even more damage reported at the Ramona Skating Rink Park in Sister Lakes as well.
Autumn Pitcher has been out covering this and showing us some of the damage firsthand. And we know that there are some injuries have been reported where you are, Autumn. What exactly are you seeing at this juncture?
That's right. Yeah, we are at Westnedge and Portage right now, right off of Garden Lane. And we have seen some injuries. There was an auto shop that collapsed. A man hurt his arm. He was a customer that was inside. His arm looked very scuffed up. When I spoke to him, he did not want to go on camera just because of how shaken up he was. But the damage is pretty bad out here. It's a very active scene. I want to show you a couple things that we can see right now. this business over here, it's hard to make it out, but it's actually Gordon's Food. I was looking for a long time trying to figure out what was this. So you can see the wind so strong it dented in the business, shattered the windows, and really I want to show you this street down here. So if we pan over this way, you can see all the way down Westnedge here in Portage. You have fire trucks, we have debris like Jessica was mentioning all across the street, and we're standing farther away from it right now because there is all kinds of down power lines. We've been seeing this about everywhere you go, and just make sure that when you are driving to be careful when you do see that down power line. We've seen a couple of people drive over those, but do not do that. Make sure that you're safe and turn around, maybe find an alternative route. But it's actually starting to rain once again very hard out here. But I still want to show you this street because this is where a lot is happening in Portage right now. So I want to zoom in to this auto parts shop. That is what I was mentioning earlier. We know of a couple people that were injured, customers that were inside there, and you can see the windows have been busted out. Also, if we move aside to AutoZone, you can see if you look closely over there, windows have been busted out as well. And I was also going to show you, it's kind of hard for me to show you right now, but we've also seen street lights, a lot of street lights that have been down as well, which is just really crazy when you think about how powerful this storm really is. Let me see if I can show you if I walk over this way. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see, but yeah, this truck is kind of blocking it right now, but we do know that there have been street lights that are also collapsed as well. And signs, I mean, look at this right here. This is Garden Lane where we're standing at on Westnedge, and you can see those winds so strong that it even turned that sign, which I can't even imagine how strong those winds must be because that's very heavy. Now, we also know that in the neighborhoods over here, over this way, we know a lot of families have been hard hit as well. We actually spoke to some families. I spotted them. They had a couple of suitcases and they were actually walking down the road. So I stopped them and I said, "What's going on, folks?" They have lost power. They said that there have been roofs that have been completely ripped off their neighbor's home. They were about the least hit that I talked to, but they said their neighbors' houses were very, very damaged. And they're actually going to a relative's house tonight to stay with them. So that's been a common trend. We've been seeing a lot of people go to relatives' house to stay safe, and also they have power. You can see a fire truck right behind me here. So it's been very busy. Fire trucks, ambulances. I haven't heard of any other injuries to this point, but all kinds of debris down here. So a lot going on. We will continue to keep you posted as we find out more. I'll send it back to you.
Thank you. To reiterate that we are hearing from the police chief in Kalamazoo, Public Safety Chief Dave Boyson, no injuries reported in the city. We know that there are some injuries in Portage. We've not confirmed the severity of those. We're hoping, of course, that they're minor. But this tornado warning remains in effect for Battle Creek. Battle Creek, you are under the gun right now. Yeah,
areas in Calhoun County. It's now moving east of Battle Creek, but the good news is rotation has really become much more broad. So right now we don't have any confirmed reports of a tornado on the ground, but that tornado warning still continues for northern Calhoun County, especially if you're north of I-94. Right now, that storm approaching I-69, that tornado warning is still in effect for the next 30 minutes until 8:30. So you want to make sure that you're still in your safe space. But the good news is we haven't had any reports of a tornado on the ground, and rotation is becoming much more broad, especially over the last about 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, if you're along or north of I-94, then you probably should still be in your safe spot, as he said, if you're east of Battle Creek, all the way to I-69. And you know, remember, the last confirmed tornado that we had in West Michigan was on election night, by the way.
Yes, it was.
Back in February. And
yes,
it was in that area that is east of I-69 and north of I-94.
I've just received some photos from a viewer showing us that Ramona Roller Rink and Miniature Golf in Dowagiac, which is in Van Buren County, is on fire. Emergency crews are right there right now. Looking at the picture, flames are just coming out of the roof. There's people all over watching. This is a large fire. It looks like the building is completely destroyed.
It's really an historic favorite place of many people. That's sad to hear. We also hearing reports that there are gas leaks at some of these buildings that were partially collapsed and or significantly damaged, and that there may be a further collapse of the structure as that happens. So don't believe that just because you see a building damaged that the worst has already happened. That thing could still come down. What remains of it?
Speaking of collapse, we're waiting to hear from Nate Brown, who is live at the FedEx facility. He was there just a few moments ago. He's trying to reach first responders to see, how many folks were trapped inside. We're being told that there was at least 400 people in the building when the tornado hit. And now we're waiting to see how many people were trapped inside, if there are any injuries, and we'll be going back out to him live here momentarily as soon as we learn more information.
I will say this,
I
Jessica, we
think I
are
heard it
looking
said that I
at
can find
these
out for you.
thunderstorms starting to slide off to the east. Go ahead, Colin.
Yeah, so they just went ahead and dropped that tornado warning for Calhoun County. So that's some good news there. Rotation is really weakened. Okay. Once again, that tornado warning has now been canceled.
And as we look at reflectivity, I think if we can just go back to reflectivity here, I want to show you that most of these thunderstorms are now starting to exit the area. We do still have a severe thunderstorm warning. We still have some thunderstorms that are obviously popping up on a boundary that looks like from the east of Schoolcraft right on up to the east side of Kalamazoo. So there's still a severe thunderstorm warning for Calhoun County until 9 o'clock for the potential of winds of 60 miles per hour. It's radar indicated with 1-inch diameter hail, but it does look like this is finally starting to wind down. Remember, our tornado watch was in effect until 9 o'clock. And so I'm hopeful anyway that we can say goodbye to these storms over the next 30 minutes to an hour. We're not out of the woods yet, but hopefully things are winding down. It does look that way west of US 131, Andy.
And we'll keep monitoring that, of course. For folks, I just got a phone call, guys, from Shannon Bagley. He is the police chief in Battle Creek, reporting no injuries, no significant damage. And we know Calhoun County remains under tornado warning, but in the city of Battle Creek, at least, that's good news. Just Kalamazoo, also no severe injuries or significant damage.
Hopefully
in the city of Kalamazoo, I should say, not
hopefully
the county.
we hear the same out of Portage.
Yeah, that's not going to be quite the same, probably.
And also remember, we're still checking in, by the way, on St. Joe County and Branch County, because remember, we had that tornado emergency around Union City along M60, I should say, or M66, I should say. M60, moving to the east there through Branch County and also St. Joseph County. Remember, the tornado that was reported on the ground around Centerville and moving up toward Mendon. So we're going to have to also be in touch with the St. Joe County Sheriff's Office there to see if there's any kind of damage down there, as we also continue to keep up with our consumers' energy outage map, because no doubt that's starting to mushroom, I would think anyway, as more and more reports of power outages come in.
Yeah, 27,000 now, the bulk of those south of Kalamazoo in the Portage area and down, like you say, Keith, in St. Joseph County, Centerville area as well.
Those two tornado tracks that we had is exactly where we're seeing the power outages. We continue with that severe thunderstorm warning, by the way. Colin is showing us now the wind field with this. It does look like it's weakening somewhat, although I will say I think there's still a burst of wind with that leading edge of the storm that is now pushing to the east of I-69 and north of Marshall. So that'd be north of 94 and east of I-69. I think there might be a little bit of a gust front, maybe a little bit of a shot of some strong winds coming in there. At least that's indicated here on radar, where there could be winds of 60 miles per hour or greater. And that's why that severe thunderstorm warning, by the way, continues for that part of West Michigan. That's Calhoun County, as we had it just a little bit earlier, that severe thunderstorm warning continuing for Calhoun County.
Keith, thanks so much. Princess Jeanne Steverson right now is live in Portage tonight, showing us more damage. What are you seeing at this hour?
Hello, Jessica. I actually just finished talking with the owner of the strip mall behind me on Portage that has been completely demolished. We're going to just walk a little closer and just go down the entire line and talk about what we see and what we've learned from the owner. This was a strip of 6 different buildings. We've got State Farm, we've got a local barber shop, we've got a pizza shop. And as you can see right now, of course, the insulation and all the wiring has just been completely torn. You'll even hear some chainsaws in the background. That's because just to our left, we've got some people trying to tear up some trees that have fallen down that have also just played a part in the complete demolition of this entire strip mall. When I spoke to the owner, which hopefully we can get back in contact with him, you can understand this is a very devastating time with him. He says he bought this building just 2 years ago, and he never imagined that a tornado would come through Portage and just completely rip all of him and his family's hard work, essentially just down to paper shreds and wall insulation. You'll see now, that's a bathroom. You'll see wall insulation everywhere. There's ripped metal and shredded pieces of wood. This whole area is completely just unrebuildable. And the store owner tells me that at this time, he's just trying to work with the insurance company to see what he can do next, because he does know one thing for sure, that he is going to have to potentially just demolish this entire area and rebuild from scratch. The good news out of this entire tragedy is he tells me that none of the people in these 6 buildings were here at the time of the tornado in Portage. So we are happy to report, according to the strip mall owner, that nobody was hurt as a result. Everybody's home safe and sound. But of course, when they get back to this area, not many good things to report on. But we're going to try to keep in touch with him and see what his next steps are, and just how the people who own these portions of the strip mall that he was having are doing, and what their next plans are as they try to rebuild these portions of their businesses. Now, we're going to come back in a while and try to take a look at the opposite side of this strip mall, where we see some people are starting to roll in as this area is becoming clear, and we've had first responders come through the area. They're trying to get through and trying to clear up a lot of the road where there's tons of downed trees, even some power lines as well. So if you come through this area of Portage, just please be aware and be patient with everyone as they're trying to clear the roads and make room. But for now, I'm reporting live in Portage. Princess Jeanne Steverson, News Channel 3.
All right, Princess Jeanne Steverson reporting for us live near Oakland and Center. I did just speak with the St. Joseph County Sheriff. They had a tornado warning. They had a touchdown in Centerville. Nottawa Gas in Sturgis has collapsed. That's from the sheriff there just moments ago. And a church in Centerville is also gone. That's the bad news. The good news is they are not reporting any serious injuries at all. No fatalities, thank goodness. And lots of damage. Trees down, power lines down, roofs torn off. But the most significant damage, the sheriff is just telling me now, would be that Nottawa Gas has collapsed on Industrial Parkway in Sturgis. And again, that church outside of Centerville, Keith.
That was another very dangerous tornado that was reported from the National Weather Service, running right down M60. And right now we continue to see the potential here for some strong winds here as well. We're keeping an eye out basically on, there's a severe thunderstorm warning that continues for Calhoun County. And we're keeping an eye on an area that is just to the northeast of Athens, just to the northwest of Burlington there. Crossing over there, you can see it right there to the east of M66. So we're going to keep an eye on that as well. There could be some strong winds there. And yeah, got to tell you, it looks like there might even be a little bit of rotation that's starting to build there. We're going to keep an eye on that. But again, this would be the same area that we watched the second tornado. The one that, for example, did the damage there in Centerville, for example, moving along M60 and then eventually went just south of Athens, went right over Burlington, Clarendon, and now you can see their reflectivity doesn't make it look too impressive there to the east of M66. But Doppler radar on the velocity product does make it look like there might be something that is brewing there. So happy to hear, by the way, not happy to hear about some of that damage in St. Joe County.
Oh, but it could have been so much worse.
So much worse there. That was a very dangerous tornado down there.
A lot of folks asking, is anything coming from the east at this point, or the south, or from the west, I should say? Yeah. Or are we pretty much? Right
now, we're looking pretty good, especially east of US 131. We still have thunderstorms. I'm sorry, west of 131. West of 131, but you can see, as Colin has up right there, we still have 2 active warnings, really 1 active warning for our area.
And that's in Calhoun County.
And that's in Calhoun County there. The storms that you see south of 94 there, around Brady Township, Vicksburg, those are not severe at this time, but we're going to keep an eye out on what's going on in Calhoun County. West of US 131, we're not seeing anything developing. I'll take that as a good sign.
Yeah.
Keith, in Van Buren County, the Sister Lakes Fire Department is now reporting that they're on the scene of a huge commercial structure fire, which happens to be the Ramona Roller Rink. And I'm looking at the videos right now that people are posting, plumes of just black smoke, just hundreds of feet up into the air. Several units, multiple crews are now responding. We don't know if anyone's been injured, but just flames are just shooting through the roof of this roller rink, which is historic, and it has a lot of meaning to a lot of folks in this area. Again, this is Ramona Roller Rink and Miniature Golf in Dowagiac, which is completely on fire, and it looks to be completely destroyed.
Much loved place for many, and great memories at that place. So it's really sad to see that. And again, of course, we care much more about injuries, so we're trying to find out if anyone has been hurt as a result of that fire or the damage in that area.
It's kind of hard to, like I said, hard to believe. I'm looking right now at some of our live shots that are coming in, our live videos that are coming in from the FedEx warehouse or the distribution center. You know, we've told you about that. That so far has been quite an impressive scene of damage. And, you know, we had heard reports, I don't know if they had been confirmed, that people were trapped in there. We had heard reports of that. But when you see the building, especially if you knew what it looked like this morning, for example, it's crazy to see it. Here it is. This is a live view of the FedEx distribution center. This building's only been open a year or two at most.
Actually, almost exactly 2 years.
Okay.
And certainly was a job generator. 400 folks worked there, and we know this isn't the end of it. It'll be rebuilt, but what a setback.
Very much so. As you see the damage there, also just a bit of a marker, a location marker. This is south of the airport and north of the Pfizer manufacturing center. So this damage was that close, by the way, to Pfizer's largest manufacturing center in North America, which is quite something as well.
Could have been devastating if that had been damaged, yeah.
I want to remind you that we continue with the severe thunderstorm warning there for Calhoun County. This now is for some strong storms. This is near Burlington. If you're near Burlington, that cell that's just to your north is actually pretty potent with some strong winds. Union City, you're seeing some of that action as well. Now, right now, not necessarily seeing anything that would denote any kind of tornado, but we're going to keep an eye on it. There could certainly be some strong winds. And just a reminder that the thunderstorm warning does continue for Calhoun County here, and that is going to be until, let me take a look at that and see if I can find it here.
I have it right here, Keith. That continues until 9 p.m. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and also some quarter-sized hail possible with that storm in Calhoun County.
All right, it looks like that we have Princess Jeanne Steverson right now live in Portage. She's been talking to folks who've just been cleaning up all of the damage that they've been seeing. Lots of businesses destroyed tonight. Very sad, tragic situation. Princess?
Yeah, Jessica, and you know, when I talked to you guys just 10 minutes ago, I was telling you that we were going to take a look on the opposite side of this strip mall at some of the damage as people were rolling in. This is a local resident I ran into. Tell me your first and last name.
Jake Longman.
Okay, Jake, now you told me you came over here to help clean up. Tell me, what were you and your pals helping to do?
Yeah, so we live right over by the Moores Golf Course, and we're trapped in. Cars can't go out anywhere from that neighborhood. And so we were just walking down. We heard there was some pretty bad damage over here, and we were just trying to help in any way we could.
And what's some of the help you guys have been able to do? I mean, I see there's debris everywhere. Are you guys being careful?
Yeah, power lines. You got to stay safe out there. And there's just a lot of debris with the trees and everything. People are trapped in their neighborhood. Cars were trapped. We were just trying to clean those cars off and clean like neighborhood exits out so people can leave their house if they need to.
And as we've been driving around, we've been seeing a lot of roads that have just been shut down and, like you said, down power lines. We haven't been able to quite make it over to where you live. Tell me where you live and what it's looking like over there.
It's right off Dunross Drive. It's my friend's house, actually. We were just coming back from the gym, and we had to barricade there. And, yeah, those trees all over the golf course and the houses. Most of the houses are safe and everything, but the roads throughout the neighborhood are pretty dangerous. Power lines down and debris everywhere, sharp sticks. So, yeah, it's pretty bad over there.
Can you tell me, what was it like having to barricade in the gym, like you said, and how long were you guys there?
Yeah, we were there for about 30 minutes. They originally said, all right, come to the locker room. They let us out about 5 minutes later, and then about another 20 minutes, we all had to come back, and the lights started flickering off, and everyone was pretty nervous to see what was happening. Because originally the line was headed right for, we were at Bronson Athletic Club. It was headed right for that, but we were happy it missed us. Very fortunate. So then we left there, and we just got texts from our friends and family just showing their houses and a few sticks through their windows when they were down in the basement. And yeah, it was crazy to see. I've never experienced anything like this. So.
I can tell. And when I was off to the side, talking to you and some of your friends actually had some pieces of debris in their hand from actual like light poles and stuff. Tell me what happened with that. I can actually see it in their hand right now.
Yeah, the stoplights. I never realized how big they were actually when they're so up close. But yeah, they're, as we saw over at this Pizza Hut in this intersection at Center and Oakland, stoplight flew all the way over here. Luckily, it didn't hit anyone. But yeah, we just have it in our hand right now over there, and it was crazy to see just picking that stuff up. You never think to see that stuff on the ground. So it was kind of crazy. Yeah.
I can see that. And I just want to say, how brave of you and your friends to come out and help these people along the strip mall to help clean up. Have you been able to talk to any of the owners or any other people nearby who are coming out to help?
Yeah, we have. They just said how some of their cars, they're not working. They're going to have to be towed. And some owners have said, almost everyone I know is power's out, so they're setting up generators now, hopefully that the storm's all the way through. And we were talking to other homeowners, just trying to help them clean off their driveway so they can leave and help their parents out. We talked to a few people who needed to leave and get their parents out, so we were just helping them move sticks and big stuff that was trapping them in. So.
And speaking of closures, you just recently told us that you're a senior at Portage. You said that you haven't heard anything from the school. Any word on what it might look like for you tomorrow morning, or if you're going?
Yeah, so I actually won't be there anyway. I have a golf tournament all day for the school, so we'll see if that gets canceled, because if we can even drive out there. And yeah, the school, I know the power's out there. I've been hearing from friends, so yeah, we'll see. We haven't got any updates yet, but I'd be shocked if we had school, but I mean, that's just for the people higher up than me to make the decision, so.
And look, I won't keep you too much longer because I know you're trying to help clean up this debris. Anything else you guys are doing today, or any help, or just you guys being here, seeing exactly what this damage looks like, anything that you'd like to relate to the public as they're trying to come through this area?
Yeah, definitely stay safe. The power lines blend in with the sticks and the debris, so stay safe out there when you're walking. Watch your head. There's so much. There's still stuff falling off trees and everything, and there's still power lines hanging over. And me being pretty tall, I've had to duck a few times to avoid all the power lines out there. So just be safe with power lines and glass. There's been a few shattered windows and glass out there. So just watch every step you take out there if you decide to help. So, yeah.
We appreciate it so much, and thank you for helping to clean up this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
For sure.
All right, guys, and you just heard it from him. Now we're just going to take a look. You've seen the back end of this strip mall. Let's walk over here. This is the Pizza Hut I told you guys about earlier that the owner told me about. You'll see the door is open. You can just take a little peek inside of what it looks like in there. Again, completely demolished on the inside. The angle I'm looking at, I can see the pizza boxes, but of course they're covered in debris, and the wall insulation just completely damaged in there. And of course, along the way, there's Jude's Barbershop. We've got Allstate, and oddly enough, according to the strip mall owner, the Allstate people are the only ones who are here. So maybe we can try knocking on their door pretty soon and see what kind of damage we're looking at and what the next steps are. But again, we're going to stick it out here and try to talk to some more residents and just see from their perspective what this area has looked like now that people are really getting to take a look back at the damage here after the tornado. Reporting live in Portage, I'm Princess Janae Steverson, News Channel 3.
And a quick note, Portage Public Schools has canceled all classes district-wide for tomorrow as the damage there is extensive. Another thing to pass along, I did just get a call from the Van Buren County Sheriff. Dan Abbott reports no serious injuries in that county.
We're also hearing from Portage Public Safety, going back to the FedEx Ground Distribution Center, which has partially collapsed. Many people were inside when that happened. We were waiting to hear if there were any injuries or fatalities. We just heard no fatalities reported. However, one person is still unaccounted for. We'll keep you updated with that. We now have crews live all over our viewing area. We're going to go straight to Carter Landis. He is live in Kalamazoo at the Pavilion Estates Mobile Home Park with what he's seeing there. Carter?
Yeah, Andy, Jessica, we are right outside of the Pavilion Estates, actually. They told us that we were not allowed in, so we are just a little bit outside of it right now at this gas station. And as you can see behind us, and you can hear, there's still first responders coming up on scene. I'll have my cameraman, he'll show you around a little bit. You can see several cars. We spoke to one person who is a resident of the Pavilion who told them that they were having first responders come and tell them to get out of the area, evacuated them from the area, because what she told us was that the place that she lives is gas, and for them to be turned over, there was a higher risk there. So they had people evacuate. They're down here. If you want to come this way with me, I'll show you right over here. You can see emergency scene ahead signs. You can see a couple of first responders there. You see the Richland Township Fire.
All right, we lost.
This way, if you want to look back this way over here. If you want to look back over this way, we've got some people there stopping traffic. Some people are parked over at this building over here as well. And looking along this side over here, you can just see there are several people who are away from the area. What we've heard about this situation, we heard from the Kalamazoo County Sheriff's Office in regards to Pavilion Estates. Apparently there are roofs flipped over, roofs are torn off, there are full homes flipped over. And if you look down back this way where the Pavilion Estates actually is, you'll look down this way, you'll see several more first responders. They're directing traffic down there, and you can kind of actually smell that gas in the air down here. Now, in terms of the weather right now, it's fairly clear. The rain and the wind have subsided around this area, but as you can see, still a couple of dark clouds, and it started to head in another direction. So far, that's the damage that we've seen around this area. I will throw it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Carter Landis live for us in Portage, showing us some of that devastation there.
Just a reminder, this is the last of the warnings that we have right now. It's a severe thunderstorm warning. This is for Calhoun County. And as we look at the reflectivity here, we're not really seeing necessarily anything. Look, the warning means that there could be radar indicated winds of 60 miles per hour. There could be some hail. Again, it looks like right around Clarendon Township down there along M66, where there could be some of the stronger winds there near Homer as well. But again, this is the last of the warnings that we have. And I think if Colin can show us the reflectivity, this goes until 9 o'clock. On the bigger picture here, then you'll be able to see as well that once we get these storms out of here, I think things will finally start to get a little bit quieter for us as well. As the bigger picture will show you that most of these storms have now moved to the east of US 131 and also have moved to the east as well as of Kalamazoo County. You can see here stretching it out. We're talking about Albion there at about 829, then moving into Spring Arbor and Jackson County. Let's get the wide view of reflectivity and show you what the big picture looks like now as we get out wide here and show you the storms that are now starting to leave the area. There we go. And you can see now we're starting to see an end of this. You can sort of see the west edge of that boundary now starting to move over into eastern Kalamazoo County, into the Coldwater area, and also into Battle Creek. But once I really think anyway, Colin, I don't know what you think, but I think once we get rid of this warning here at 9 o'clock, that we'll finally be out of the woods. I haven't really checked in. Let me check in as well on the tornado watch to see if it still is in effect, to see if we still have that. And it is still in effect, by the way. And so we do have some video. Okay, we do have some video of the tornado, and there it is. As we can see here, I'm not sure where this is from or who this is from, but we're going to be able to get that information. This is chime in video here. Chime in video here. Oh my goodness, look at that, Colin, Andy and Jess.
That's a very well-formed funnel fire, isn't it? Yeah.
That is very well formed there. You know, around here lately anyway, we don't see them as plainly often like this, but that is definitely there. So that is also seen there just south of Galesburg, a picture from just south of Galesburg as well, just seeing that as well from Colin. So again, evidence, you know, as if we didn't have enough evidence on the ground, there's the visual evidence as well of those tornadoes as they were moving across the area. I do want to remind you, we still have the tornado watch until 9 o'clock. It covers everybody. I do note that Berrien County has now been taken out of the watch area, and that is supposed to expire at 9 o'clock. So I wouldn't be surprised if it lasts until 9 o'clock. Oh, it goes until 11. It goes until 11, so that's been
for the
updated.
Eastern counties.
For the Eastern counties,
yeah.
You're right. I forgot.
Yeah.
This was a two-parter. So for our Eastern counties, it goes until 11. And that warning right now goes until 9 o'clock this evening. That's for Calhoun County.
And we appreciate the photos and videos that you're sending in, like the tornado that we just saw there. Please do that and be safe if you're taking photos. And remember again that all law enforcement is advising you not to go anywhere if you don't have to tonight, because it really is impassable in some areas with trees down, power lines down, and unsecure buildings that have been damaged and are now unstable.
That's right. Stay home, stay safe, and check on your loved ones.
For sure. Also, another reminder as well, we'll continue to keep you up to speed if any other warnings are posted, because again, we do continue to see that watch until 9 o'clock tonight. You can see some of the photos that we have there right now. Don't forget, our Chime In page has photos, has videos. I do want to remind you as well to make sure to give us a location whenever you put those in, because a time and a location, those are key. Those are key pieces of information. You can see there a tree down on a car. I mean, it's just been crazy what's been happening here in West Michigan. I guess now over about the last 3.5 hours or so, I think right before 5 o'clock or so is right when everything started popping for us. And it does look like, again, we've been the focus of the tornado activity today in the country.
You've been the chief meteorologist here for a long time, Keith. Have you seen anything like this?
I haven't on such a widespread. No, I haven't. You know, I remember Schoolcraft. I remember some seeing back in around 2010, 2011. I know Battle Creek got hit really hard around 2011. The summer, a couple of, I know a lot of trees down, for example, near the airport in the Lakeview neighborhood. I haven't.
What's unique about it is the simultaneous tornadoes too. So many coming from different directions at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I've not seen much of either.
And the damage, you know, again, we're focusing right now, or showing you a lot of Portage and Kalamazoo. But as Andy found out from the St. Joe County Sheriff, there's damage down in Centerville. You know, with, I think you said a church that's gone.
There sure is. A church has been leveled in Centerville that has collapsed. I'm trying to find out the name of it, and we'll let you know as soon as we do. And again, Ottawa Gas in Sturgis has gone.
And I wouldn't be surprised.
It has collapsed from what we hear from the sheriff.
I wouldn't be surprised if we haven't heard of everything yet when we're talking about in St. Joe County, maybe Northern Branch County, Homer, Union City, some names that some cities that we named, some towns that we named quite a bit. Of course, we haven't been able out here to be as in touch with our social media accounts. There might be some folks who are already posting some information, but right now trying to keep you up to speed with the weather means that we haven't been able to check in on some of those reports.
Some encouraging news as well. Sorry, Colin, from Consumers Energy. A lot of the restoration estimates are now in, and they're overnight. 2-3 hours from now, sometimes 5 or 6 hours, but it isn't anything days like we've seen before sometimes in storm damage situations.
And where we had that tornado earlier pass through areas like Teconcha and Homer, that's the area right now that's dealing with a severe thunderstorm moving through. And it looks like winds are kind of picking up. So expect gusty winds. We could have some hail in and around Teconcha, now moving east towards Homer. So just keep that in mind. We still have an active severe thunderstorm warning. So if you're trying to get started with some storm cleanup, you'll want to delay that right now. Get to a sturdy structure. We have lightning, gusty winds, and heavy rain falling in that area.
Also, too, just a reminder, we've been told by Portage Public Safety no fatalities were reported. This was at the FedEx Ground Distribution Center, where up to 400 people could have been in the building at the time of the tornado. We're being told by police no fatalities reported. One person, though, still unaccounted for. We're also following the major fire that's happening at Ramona Roller Rink, which is in Dowagiac. We received photos from our viewers just showing the entire building on fire.
In terms of significant damage elsewhere, of course, Portage and Center, Portage and Southwest Nidge, or Center and Southwest Nidge, strip malls just leveled and lots of buildings gone, and now gas leaks. And of course, those buildings and structures are unstable. So that's the area that you'll really want to avoid if you can.
Also because you know that the crews, if they're giving us an overnight opportunity or an overnight estimate for getting those getting the power back on, that means that they're going to be working hard to put poles back up, put lines back up. Again, just another reason to stay home. Sheriff Fuller, Kalamazoo County Sheriff Fuller earlier today was telling Andy, you know, the best thing that you can do to help out the first responders is to stay home.
Great advice. Great advice.
See some more pictures coming in right there. Another tree down, it looks like, on a house there. We continue to monitor. By the way, the severe thunderstorm warning for Calhoun County is still in effect, but now the northern portion of that warning has been shaved off. What Colin's showing you right now, again, it looks like, if anything, maybe a little something cooking near Homer and Clarendon along M66. As that pushes off to the east, it eventually looks like it's going to be moving into Jackson County, which would be moving out of our area. But again, we're going to continue watching that. And I believe anyway, hopefully, knock on wood, that'll be the last of the severe threats that we have. As we look here at the wider view, you can see where we still have thunderstorms. Now, like Andy said, if you hear lightning, if you see lightning rather, and hear thunder, you need to be inside.
I do want to mention too that as people start to clean up their property, insurance adjusters will tell you don't move anything until we come and take a look at what's been damaged. And so, you know, you want to go in there, you want to start pulling stuff around, moving trees, cutting down trees. Don't move anything. If you must, take pictures before certain things happen, but that way too you're protected and that your insurance company has all the information they need.
Just a reminder too, the National Weather Service no doubt is going to be out in full force tomorrow with their storm survey teams. They're going to be looking for things. You know, if you watched our severe weather special, by the way, Jeff Porter did something with their warnings person in Grand Rapids, talking specifically about what they look for, and it's very interesting. There are telltale signs of a tornado and also the strength of the tornado. I know a lot of folks are looking at that video from the FedEx distribution center or looking at, you know, a store that might have been leveled or trees that might have been snapped off and sort of coming up with your own idea of what the damage is or the strength of that tornado was. But the National Weather Service will be out in full force all around those parts that have seen damage tomorrow.
They'll be looking for debris field indications of rotation because, of course, straight line winds can be just as damaging. But we know now a confirmed tornado or 2 or 3 in our viewing area, maybe 4.
Yeah.
Another reminder too, police will tell you that at times of mass events such as this tonight, when there's been a lot of damage, scammers will try to take advantage of you, coming door to door asking, you know, do you need your roof repaired? Do you need your lawn repaired, your home repaired? Just make sure that you hire companies that are legit. Make sure you go onto BBB's website and make sure that you're hiring a company that will do exactly what they say they will, and to be wary of folks who are going door to door.
Great advice. That's really good advice and a good reminder for all of us.
I think this picture that we're showing you right now sums up a lot of the damage. This shot here from Chime In, Lindsay Coriel.
Yeah, the FedEx distribution center, FedEx
From
ground.
inside the building.
It's awful.
You can see, and you can imagine if folks were in there actually working, and you can see the water cascading off of the roof on the right side of the screen. The intensity of the storm that must have created that damage.
We know that hundreds work there, and we've recently learned that there is one person who was supposed to be there who remains unaccounted for. So we're still trying to figure out who that is and ask police what the situation is with that.
And the good news is so many areas pounded, not by one storm, but by multiple storms. The good news now, and it's showing us that there's confidence that these storms are continuing to move off to the east. The tornado watch has been dropped for everyone except for Eaton, Calhoun, Branch, St. Joseph, and Cass County. I suspect they dropped that tornado watch for Cass and St. Joseph County here very soon. So just dealing with those storms moving through Calhoun County right now, also into Branch County, those quickly moving off to the east.
Just hearing from the mayor of Portage, they are asking for people to stay off the roads. The Zhang Senior Center, now an emergency shelter for those who have nowhere to stay tonight if their homes are damaged, the roof is gone. There's so many reasons why your home could be unlivable now. But the Zhang Senior Center there in Portage is now an emergency shelter. And again, many roads impassable because of downed trees, downed wires, and gas leaks. And we're going to hear more from Portage within the hour.
We're also seeing issues with flooding and debris all over the roads. Another reminder, down power lines are everywhere. We've been showing you the Consumers Energy outage map throughout the evening. The good news is that most people will have their power be restored by morning. But still, that's going to pose a lot of risks and issues for people, especially the most vulnerable adults out there. So check on your loved ones, your elderly neighbor, make sure everyone is accounted for and that they're okay. We also have Nate Brown, who is live at the FedEx facility. He's got new information for us out there. Nate?
We're back here at the FedEx ground facility on Portage Road, South Portage Road. As well as you can see behind us, this damage really taking a toll on this building. Siding and walls being torn off behind us here, and well, pretty scary sight, I'm sure, for everyone inside. No one, unfortunately, from FedEx willing to talk on the matter. They did direct us to their FedEx Media Relations group. We unfortunately have not heard any clarification back from them, but what we have heard from, who we have heard from, is the Portage Public Safety Chief, Nick Armold, and he informed us that everyone in this facility, everyone except for one employee, has been accounted for, and there are no confirmed fatalities at this time. Once again, one employee still unaccounted for, but no confirmed fatalities at this time. That, of course, coming from Portage Public Safety Chief Nick Armold here in regards to the FedEx ground facility, taking a hit today from some major storm damage. Now, We do not have official confirmation on whether this was caused by a tornado or tropical storm of some kind. Looking to get you final confirmation on that as we speak. But as of now, one employee still unaccounted for. We'll look to keep you updated as we find out more information. Reporting from Portage Road in Kalamazoo, Nate Brown, News Channel 3.
And as we leave Nate there, we want to go back to our only active severe thunderstorm warning right now. And we do want to remind you that if you're in Teconcha right now, there are some strong winds moving through. And so that is going to be from Teconcha to Clarendon to Homer. That's going to be moving into Butler Township. That's in northeasternmost Branch County. It's north of you there in Quincy. But this is going to be moving pretty fast as it moves out of Calhoun County. In fact, you can see as we were just talking, that a portion of that warning has been trimmed. Notice that angle there follows right along the western edge of the thunderstorms that are moving out. And so good news there. And again, as Colin mentioned a little bit earlier as well, we're seeing some more good news, and that is that tornado watch is being shaved, showing you right there. It's being shaved now. Kalamazoo not in it anymore. Van Buren County not in it. And I do believe that it will be shaved from west to east as we continue to go through the next hour.
The real story at this point is the extensive damage in the city of Portage. Portage schools are closed tomorrow, and our Princess Shawnee Steverson has been live for us on Center Avenue, which really is the epicenter of the tornado-related damage, to show us what else we're seeing after the storm rolled through and was so destructive. Princess Shawnee.
Hello, Andy. We walked a few blocks down just from where we were at, from that local shopping market. You'll see behind me there's a barely big tree that's just been uprooted from the ground up. You'll see if you go up, you'll see that it's also hit this power line here, which towards the middle has actually just been snapped to half. And directly across the street here on Julie Drive, you'll see a home where there's tons of trees that are just blocking off that home's driveway. You'll see the garage has even been dented in. It looks like from this view it might be somewhere in the beginning of that home too. You'll see the yellow tape as well. We just had a lot of officials down here just blocking down this area because of all the down powered lines, and of course it's very hard to get through. And you'll see just straight ahead where our photographer Pat is showing you, you'll see some more down powered lines in that area. And this is the area where, if you were tuning in a little earlier, you saw a lot of first responders just heading down this area. They were coming here to where all these power lines are. You'll see if you just take a look to our right, all the traffic that's been backed up as a result of this. And then it's a little ways down, so we're going to try to get that in there for the next hit. But there's a house not too far, just right behind me, where a tree has also come down, blocking their driveway, and we've seen people just come in and try to clear that area for those residents. In the past 30 minutes, I also, just spoke to this people down there at that local supermarket, and they're just trying to clean up. You see, some more first responders coming down as well, because we know just down the street, maybe about 0.8 miles away, there is an apartment complex that we heard word from officials that is in some pretty bad shape. So hopefully we can get some images and some information on that for you as well. And I got that information from a local officer where I was at that supermarket, who just recently taped it off with yellow tape. So know if you're going down there, you can't, because it's unsafe. There's a lot of broken glass. There's a lot of debris everywhere. And again, just give us some time as we work with the traffic here to go take a look at some more of the damage here in Portage. For now, I'm live in Portage. Princess Shawnee Steverson, News Channel 3.
All right, Princess, thanks so much. As you can see right there, lots of damage in Portage, and we did receive word that Portage Public Schools is closed for tomorrow. All classes are canceled. We're still waiting to hear from other school districts, but right now only Portage Public Schools is canceled for tomorrow. And as you can see right there, it looks like the maps are starting to calm down, Colin, after hours of coverage.
Yeah, certainly. We still have a severe thunderstorm warning until 9 p.m. for southeastern Calhoun County. This continues to push east into Jackson County. And once this expires, it looks like we're going to really be settling down. Right now, the only storms we have in the entire area are over Branch County right now, and it's producing a non-severe thunderstorm right now, moving over Coldwater, but still some heavy rain, some lightning, and that severe thunderstorm warning continues once again until 9 p.m. for southeastern Calhoun County. That's where we're seeing some stronger winds. We could have winds upwards of 60 miles per hour, and also quarter-size hail can't be ruled out with that storm as it continues to push off into Jackson.
And keep us mentioning radar indicated and observed tornadoes confirmed by the National Weather Service, and investigators will be here probably for the next couple of days to look at the debris field and the damage and determine what did happen and how strong those tornadoes were.
I think there's so much for them to go over.
Yeah.
This isn't just one that was on the ground for 100 yards or 200 yards.
Oh, yeah.
And multiple touchdowns possible as well. Even going back all the way back into Dowagiac. I wonder if that fire was related to that you talked about at that Ramona skate rink.
So is it too soon to tell how many tornadoes there were? Or is it just 2 tornadoes that touched down and had a path of destruction miles wide?
Well, I think there was at least 2 or 3 that had been visually confirmed. A couple of them, remember, St. Joe County, Branch County, and then Van Buren County into Kalamazoo County as well. I know there was 1 or 2 radar indicated ones in southern Branch County. There could have been several, but that remains to be seen.
Some of them, too, we had reports of on the ground. They would lift. They were on the ground again as they continue to trek off to the north and the east. So here's a video right now showing like what looks to be
This was the tornado that our viewer caught and sent to chime in that we saw a few minutes ago and are looking at it again. Very well-defined funnel.
And thanks, by the way, to the viewers for providing all that information for sure, because that helps tell the story immensely.
I'm looking too at the live look over your shoulder, Keith, of downtown Battle Creek, downtown Kalamazoo. The sun is now out.
Yeah.
What a difference.
What a difference. And I think that's, again, a sign of things that are improving. So, I don't want to give away the forecast that I'll have tonight at 10, 11 o'clock, but things are certainly getting better.
And by way of summary, we did speak with the sheriffs of Van Buren and St. Joseph counties, both reporting no serious injuries that they're aware of. Kalamazoo may be a different story. The city of Kalamazoo says no major injuries. All eyes on Portage at this point to see the damage there and how many people have been hurt.
Hopefully everybody's going to be coming out of this okay. I know that the work is going to just be beginning as far as cleanup goes. When we went to Autumn Pitcher, for example, when we went to Princess Jeanne there, you could hear chainsaws in the background. And you know that's going to be a sound that is going to be heard along with generators tonight and likely through the day tomorrow. As we continue to now move into the news phase of this, which is going to be the cleanup that is going on. And of course, to see if there's any kind of casualty number or any kind of reports of anybody who was hurt by this. We continue to hope for the best anyway, but that's what our news reporters are obviously working on right now. What
about the threat of continued storms throughout the evening? Are we in the clear?
We still have that severe thunderstorm warning for southeastern Calhoun County. We still have some non-severe thunderstorm warnings for Branch County. But after that, once these start to push east, I don't anticipate any more storms forming. So that's the good news there. I think that, confidence is increasing that this event is winding down because the National Weather Service has dropped or has canceled that tornado watch for most of our viewing area. Eaton, Calhoun, Branch, St. Joseph, Cass counties are now the only counties still under that tornado watch. And I assume that once these storms push east, over the next 30 minutes or so that they'll go ahead and drop those counties as well. So our event certainly winding down over the next 20, 30 minutes. And certainly if you're west of 131, and we're seeing sunshine right now over our Kalamazoo camera. So that's some good news there.
As the storm threat dissipates, though, of course, the real work begins. Now there's so much damage. First responders are out looking for people who may be injured and looking for dangerous situations to get the public out of. And of course, we'll be out there with them as well to figure out how many people are hurt and where those folks are.
If your home is impacted, if you need a safe place to stay tonight, we're being told at the Zhang Senior Center located in Portage, which is near City Hall, is now available for people to seek shelter tonight. So
right
the
off
Zhang
center, yeah.
Community Center, yes.
That's where our Princess Shawnee Stevenson is again, showing us some very significant damage in that area where the tornado just carved a jagged path right through that area, Princess.
That's right, Andy. And, about 10 minutes ago, I told you all we were going to head down to the strip mall, but then I came alongside this lovely woman. Please tell me your first and last name.
Hi, my name is Ruby Cagney-Kurzik.
Okay, Ruby, I just saw you, you came along. You told me you live in this neighborhood, and I saw you earlier when I was coming down from the strip mall about half a block that way. But I didn't stop you because I heard you yell out and say our whole neighborhood has been ruined. I know after speaking with you just now that your house, thankfully, is okay, but it's not the same for your neighbors in the area. Can you tell me what it's like for them and just from what you've seen?
Oh, our neighborhood is totally devastated, especially down the strip mall, down by Pizza Hut and stuff is pretty much gone now. But my house, thank God, we were spared and stuff, but the house across my street from us, their garage is totally gone now. They're missing part of their roof. The house kitty corner from us has trees on top of it. My neighbor's house around the corner is almost completely destroyed. But our neighborhood, we're definitely going to take a while to recover. But thank God it looks like everybody is safe and accounted for. So that's the good news of it.
Yes, ma'am, and that's what I'm seeing right now. And you mentioned the garage. I mean, I almost asked you what garage because I didn't see it until I saw the garage door right there. And then you can see where it's just been completely actually just torn down from the side. We can see the insulation up top. I see your neighbors right there across the street. Have you been able to talk to anyone in your neighborhood so far?
Yes, we've been able to touch base with basically almost all our immediate neighbors around us, the ones across the street here, and Jerry over here across from the corner from us, along with Rick and stuff further down the road from us, that they all have stormage damage and everything to the house, but they are all okay along with their pets and their kids and everybody and their families. So that's the good news.
And speaking of family, I was just talking with you and your brother, and you said you guys actually had plans not too long to get rid of these trees that have now come down in your neighborhood. Tell me, when did this happen, and what was it like for you inside when you heard, I'm sure, a loud crash?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so the last thing I literally remember is the warnings. The warning came through, and thank goodness we had about 10 minutes time to gather up pets and get to the basement. But once the actual winds came and hit the neighborhood, they hit full force, and they hit fast, and they hit hard. And it just sounded like, they always say that tornadoes and stuff sound like a freight train just barreling down on your house, and that's exactly what it felt like. My brother and I were both home. My father was at work, and our ears just popped, and the house just started literally just shaking, and our ears popped, and I just had time to just let out just a scream of like, what the? Sorry, my language, but just screaming like, what the? And just had enough time for that. And as soon as I got the scream out, the last thing that I saw is we have just little itty bitty windows of our basement that are just big enough, to just look out of. And the last thing that I saw was a giant oak tree from my backyard just going literally sideways, horizontally across my yard.
And then just give us a second for those of you watching at home. We're just going to walk straight forward with the homeowner and just take a look at some of the damage. Although her house has not been touched, we definitely see all of these down power lines and trees. Look right there for me. Look at all those wires that are just intertwined in that tree right there. Let me ask you, with all these trees coming down, and I see the wires intertwined between all these branches, what's power looking like for you guys?
We do not have power, and actually we just had brand new fiber optic internet put in on Friday. And if you look at the side of our house over there, you can see where the box was ripped off the side of the house that had the internet wires. And our internet wires are now ripped out and have been destroyed. So our brand new internet that has only been installed about 3 days is no longer installed.
Right, and then let's just take one more further walk this way. We talked about earlier how these fallen trees missed your house right here by practically an eyelash of just ripping off the front exterior.
This right here is my bedroom. So this window right here is my bedroom. So as you see, it just missed my bedroom by just literally inches. And the back of our house and stuff is much worse around here. And if we come around the back of the house, we have just crazy storm damage back here.
And just one second, I'm going to give our photographer, Pat, just a moment to catch up with us, just because we do have some branches all around this backyard. We want to make sure he's okay and doesn't trip over anything. Give us 1 second as we follow you. All right.
Huge oak tree back here that is probably the width of 2 or 3 people that has just completely came down.
Okay, all right. And oh my goodness, look at just another down tree right here. Oh, one right in front of us, and then another one right over here, and a third one. Oh.
That used to be a giant pine tree standing right at the end of our driveway along next to that other one that's still standing. But as you see, it's totally down now, so.
Okay.
Quite the destruction. Our neighbor's trampling that from about 4 houses down that way. And now you see it's in our backyard.
Yes, and I know that, you and your family are trying to get things together, so I won't hold you too much longer. Just want to ask you one more question. On our way down here, we did see a lot of officials roping off the area, coming down here. Have they said anything to you about when you all can look for these trees to kind of be out of the way?
They haven't really told us much yet. They did tell us that as of right now, all the power lines in the area are still apparently live. So they told us do not go near power lines, do not go outside, like as much as we can, stay inside, stay safe, stay away from the lines. But they haven't really gave us a time frame or anything yet.
Okay, well, I appreciate you so much taking the time out of your day to speak with us. And we just hope that all this gets cleared up. And we're so thankful that you and your family are okay despite the damage surrounding your home.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Yeah, you guys stay safe too, because this is just insanity out here right now.
We plan to. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And, just forgive us for the noise. You guys can hear them just over there, just trying to cut down some trees. As you just saw, 3 of them, huge trees, have just come down. But we're going to take a small break and just keep looking at all the damage and come back to you all when we can. In the meantime, we're going to toss it over to our very own Autumn Pitcher, who is also in Portage.
Yes, we are at the Campbell Auto Supply Shop in Portage, where the damage has been very awful here. This shop has been hit the hardest that we've seen so far, and I actually just spoke to the owner. He says that he's owned the shop for about 30 years now, and he is just devastated. I want to step aside so I can give you a look at what the damage is looking like. You can see windows all busted out of this shop, and he said that he's had some coworkers, friends and family come. You can see a man over here in his orange shirt. He's been cleaning up, brushing some of that debris and also glass. And he says that they're just really trying to figure out where to go from here. It's hard to know where to start, what to do. But this man, I want to mention that he was actually inside the shop when this storm came through, and he was terrified for his life. He says that he could feel the store shaking and even parts coming down on top of him. Now, there was also a customer that was inside as well. The customer was hurt. He scraped up his arm. I mentioned this earlier, but he is going to be okay, just really shaken up. And that's really the message of what it's looking like out here in Portage. All kinds of folks, families just trying to pick up and figure out exactly what to do from here. Now, I also want to move aside again to show you some of this damage over here. We can see all kinds of down power lines down Westnedge here in Portage, and we're trying to stay away from those, and we want to warn you to stay away from those if you are in the area. We have lots of folks that are walking around. Be careful. It's sometimes hard to spot, what I've noticed so far, when you are walking around, so be very careful if you have to get outside your home. Now, I do want to show you that also you can see crews working, busy at work. They have been real troopers in this effort for this restoration of power. We know several families out here have lost their power as well. A neighborhood just to the side of us, all kinds of roofs have been torn off their homes, and families just terrified and just really shaken up. Now, I also want to move aside. We have the down power lines, but on the other side of Westnedge here in Portage, I was trying to make this out, and this shop was actually a pet store. So you can see owners outside right now. We had a fire rescue crew. I do not know if anyone is inside there right now, but windows busted out, signs torn off. And again, that debris is all scattered across the roads here. So we've been talking to several folks and just trying to make sure they're okay. Everyone seems to be doing okay, but there is so much cleanup that has to be done. So again, we will keep you updated and posted with the very latest as we find out more. I'll send it back to you for now.
Autumn, thank you. We remain very concerned about the one person unaccounted for in this collapse or partial collapse of the FedEx ground facility in Portage. I just heard from the undersheriff, no change, that person remains unaccounted for. Everyone else who is in the building is all right. There are some very minor injuries, but nothing serious. The big consideration now is that unaccounted person.
Well, the good news also in this, as far as the weather is concerned, is that there are no more warnings. The warning was canceled. That had been in effect for Calhoun County. We are watching the thunderstorms move out. As you look at some of the photographs right there, thanks again to our folks for helping to share. Remember, only get photos if it's safe, and stay out of the way of folks who are trying to do help, and also stay away from those power lines. One last look at the radar if we can, just to show you what it looks like here. Those thunderstorms are moving out, and also the last look at our watches here. Notice that's been shaved as well. We only have 2 of our counties in the watch right now. That's until 11. That's Calhoun County and Branch County. Eden County is included in it as well. But as these storms move off to the east, this is good news, because I think really now the weather threat is over.
I'll breathe a sigh of relief at this point that there's not another threat imminent.
Right.
Nothing else coming.
And I do have an update from Ramona Roller Rink, which we followed earlier in the day. It was on fire, and it looks like the owners have posted to Facebook, please don't call or message us right now. We're trying to sort out everything and see where to go from here, but the whole family is stressed beyond measure. This was our life. We don't know where to go. We're just in shock. It also seems too that their cat, Nugget, has disappeared from the building, and the family is now asking the community, if you've seen Nugget the cat, please let them know. He's probably scared and confused.
All right, the Zhang Senior Center, also in Portage, now an emergency shelter for anyone who might have lost their home. We know that there are several people whose houses are unlivable. We just got a photo in from a viewer of a mobile home in Pavilion Estates that was flipped over and thrown off of its base. So this is obviously a serious situation in that area. As we've been showing you the damage to the commercial structures, let's remember as well, lots of residential damage, making homes unlivable, guys, after these tornadoes that tore through, and the Zhang Senior Center is a place to go.
One more thing to remind again, I think Carter, when he was out there at Pavilion Estates, also said that there was some evidence of some roofs being taken off of some of those as well. So I think it'll be interesting to hear what might have happened there, and hopefully nobody hurt there.
Well, I guess as we leave tonight, we'll be back on it at 10 and 11 with updates from our crews in the field. And of course, please send your photos that you can take safely to our chiming gallery on our app, and we'll also upload them to our social media platforms as well.
And definitely our thoughts and prayers go out to everybody who's affected tonight. Stay safe, watch out for down power lines, and of course local law enforcement is telling people to stay home because the roadways are just not clear and not safe to drive.
We'll have a weather update for you, by the way, at 10 on the ARC, and then also at 11. But I can tell you this, the action for tonight is thankfully over.
Good job to you both. Very thorough coverage, of course, which we always know we're going to get here. Thank you for watching and sending in your photos and videos as well. And we'll be with you as this major damage cleanup project is only beginning.
Have a good evening.